What's up, everybody? Rene Rodriguez with a Long Story Longer podcast, and it's 2026. I just turned 45 over the holidays. December 25th is my birthday. 5 years away from 50. What the fuck? Anyway, the tamales hit me hard. It was tough on me. I'll lose the weight. I always do. I'm not worried about it. Got them buttons on my shirt snapping off or about to snap off. Holy shit. Anyway, real quick precursor to this episode. I had Brian Carbajal, Mijo's drum teacher, for 2+ years. I met Brian at his previous place of employment. He was Ryan's drum teacher from day one. And Brian is a great dude. The quality of person that Brian is, both professionally and personally, can't get any better than him. He's a class act all in all. Love the dude. And I'm glad I had a chance to meet him on a deeper level here on the podcast. And I can't wait for you guys to meet him either. Solid dude, solid guest. Had great conversation with him. And I'm going to have him back because even after we stopped recording, we still talked till about 2 in the morning, just talking about life and everything in general, you know. Brian did talk about his previous place of employment. And he did want to clarify he wasn't throwing shade at his previous place of employment where Ryan went to music school. Lost my voice there for a bit. I'm out of practice. I've been gone for a while. I'm tripping on my tongue over and over and over. But anyway, so yeah, he wants to clarify he's not throwing shade at the place. Students still benefit from going there. I don't regret investing money into that school either because, again, thankfully for that, Ryan's got the talent he's got. Thankfully, we met Brian. Full circle, it was a great result for us. And I do mention at the very end of the episode, I've got beef with the school for sure. And I'll go ahead and say it here at the top of the episode. Ryan, I think, was amongst, not just because he's my son, but Ryan was amongst the star people at that school. And I'm sure there are a dime a dozen because there's a bunch of talent here in El Paso. A bunch of those kids are talented. But I kind of felt bad whenever we released music with One Star Day. I did ask for the school to share our music. They never did. And it kind of sucks because this is the product of my investment, their teachings, more Brian than anything, right? Because, again, Brian is a great teacher. Ultimately, I pulled Ryan out of that school because I don't know the facts. I asked the person at the front desk several times. I know Brian tried to push it to have them share our music on their website. And I would tag them on my Instagram, my social media. Like, hey, man, this is a product of your school. Why not showcase it? They never did. And that's cool. You know, maybe they think my music sucks or our music sucks. Whatever the case, it is what it is. That was my reason for leaving the school. But I'm glad I kept in contact with Brian. You know, I've seen his band perform a couple times, Collide the Gemini. Great band. Go to your what the fuck am I saying? Go to your music streaming services and give them a listen. They're great. As well as his work on Ness Daniels and his current project, the number 33. Listen to all that stuff. But going back to what I was talking about, yeah, man. Brian is going to go teach elsewhere now. 3 different schools, different sides of El Paso. So if you're interested in learning how to play drums, or maybe your kids, you can find them in Central El Paso, East Side El Paso, Horizon City. Brian, though, talking about his situation with the school, reminded me of stuff that all of us go through in life. You know, if we're not happy somewhere, we got to find the next best thing for us, whatever makes sense to us in the moment. Taking that leap of faith. And I could relate to that for sure, because I remember my job that I had for the longest time here in El Paso. I felt bound to that job because at the time, so many years ago now, it was one of the better paying jobs in El Paso. And I remember one of my old bosses would tell me, where else are you going to make what you make here? You're making more than El Paso PD. You're making more than teachers on average in El Paso. Who else is going to pay you what you get paid here? And that's the way he kept us, right? You know, that's the way he dangled that job over our faces like a carrot in the cartoons with the horses or what have you. But I remember at one point I just got tired of it. I took that leap of faith and ultimately ended up on the railroad. That's the same thing that Brian just did. He wasn't happy where he was at. He took that leap of faith and he's teaching elsewhere. But I've got zero doubt that whatever the case with Brian, his talent is the proof is in the pudding, man. He's got a lot of star people. We talk about my son, of course, on this podcast episode, and we talk about others that he's taught that he's very proud of on here as well. Um, so I think that no matter which path Brian takes, because of the class of person he is, the quality of person that he is, it's gonna go well for him. And I wish him the best on his future endeavors. And I can't wait for you guys to meet him here on this podcast. Again, reach out to him on his social media. Um, Reach out to the schools where he's teaching at if you want to learn, maybe not just drums, but everything else as well. Lessons are there to be had. So take them, get them for your kids. It benefits the kids more than you know. Music is life. Again, stay tuned for this episode. I can't wait for you guys to listen to it. Peace out. Love you all. What's up, everybody? Rene Rodriguez with the Long Story Longer podcast. And this week's guest, I've got to say, is a gentleman that I truly respect. I care a lot about. He was Ryan's drum instructor. Whenever Ryan started playing drums initially here at my house, I always thought he was a bit of a natural talent. Of course, being a parent, you think everything your kid does is the best ever. But until his instructor came into play and taught him the foundation of drumming and all the basics, of course, Miko started to shine a lot better. So with that, I introduce to you guys my buddy, Brian Carbajal.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Who's a drummer percussionist. Brian, thanks for coming, man.
No, thank you for having me. Really appreciate it, man. Excited to be here.
Thank you for making it out here, bro.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, I was touching base on how I met you through Soundstage 9, the music school.
Mm-hmm.
I enrolled Mijo into that school for him to learn drums. My nephew, little Rudy, had gone to that school previously. I don't know who his instructor was, but I know it paid off for him too, for the short stint that he played drums. But whenever I enrolled Mijo there, so I don't know if I ever told you this story, but initially he was going to have another drum instructor.
Oh, really?
And Mijo's, well, not anymore because he's changing the older he gets. He's into banda now.
Yeah.
But
I saw that.
But initially he was all me, right? Chili Peppers, Pearl Jam, Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Mostly Chili Peppers. And so whenever they asked us at the school what music he was into, I said Chili Peppers more than anything. And I can't remember the other instructor's name, but they were like, oh, no, that's great because so-and-so's going to be a great instructor for Ryan then if that's the case. So I got excited, but we never had class with him. I don't know if it was a schedule change or whatever that they told us. It was going to be Brian Carbajal, not the other gentleman. And at first I was like, oh, man, well, I mean.
Like, who's this guy?
It is what it is, right? No, but ultimately we were very happy because I saw all the fundamentals that you taught Ryan. Because, again, with me working out of town, I didn't get to take him all the time, right? My parents would take him also. Yeah. Once in a while, his mom would take him. But as a big fan of music myself and a half-assed musician, like, everything that you were teaching my son was like, wow, man. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, if you want to learn, I love to teach, so.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And so I want to ask you, so as far as school, you were teaching at Soundstage 9 before, and you're teaching elsewhere now.
Yes. Yeah, I finished my time there at Soundstage. Of course, not to talk bad or anything about the school. I mean, I really developed a lot of my fundamentals of teaching there, really, and I've met a bunch of great people, worked with a lot of great students. I mean, of course, like yourself and Ryan. And it's just, I think at the time, I just felt like there was just a lot of things that needed to change there. And, like it didn't really feel like it was about the students as much. And that's what I've always been about. I've never really been about it being about myself or anything, because I feel like as a teacher, you have to be there for your students. It's always about the student first. And eventually, just things started changing, and it was kind of a bad change. But then,
right.
I really liked, again, I really enjoy all the experiences and the memories that I've made there. But, given the things that was going on there, I had to leave. And then these other studios that were opening up, they were opportunities for me to expand myself. So I saw it that way, because they needed people, but it was really about the students in their case. And I can say that because once I started working there at those other studios, it really felt like the students were the main focus, and I really wanted to, make it really about that.
I love that, brother. I love the way you express that because music is medicine.
Hmm.
Music is a tool. It's medicine. It's life as far as I'm concerned. Like whenever my son and I play music, it's healing for sure.
Hmm.
Music is very personal to all of us,
Hmm.
especially musicians, right?
Yeah.
So I think if you make it more about, I'm assuming from what you're saying, they're making the music about the business more so than the
Hmm.
student.
Yeah.
And yeah, the business is going to pay the bills for sure, but if it takes away the love from it all, then what do you
Hmm.
have left? You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because like I mean, and as a musician, I know all of us, like you said, it's therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that when it's becoming a job and it feels like a chore, it loses that value of like
Mm-hmm.
coping.
Right.
And that's kind of what was happening really for myself. I found myself very frustrated. Like I would show up to work and I would be, I mean, I don't want to call it work because to me it wasn't work, but it was feeling like work. It was feeling like I was showing up to work, and just given the fact that like the studio was suffering financially really, and I was also suffering from that too. So a lot of that stuff was very stressful, and I found myself. I mean, I don't know how the students felt about it, but I would always go and be like, man, like I know I'm frustrated, but I want to give my students the best,
Mm-hmm.
because for them, right, it could be, that hour, that half hour that they're with me, it's medicine for them, or it's
They
something for
they've been
fun.
looking forward to it all day, more than likely.
Exactly.
And
And
that's how Ryan was.
yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, cause I enjoy my time with the students, it was very fun. Like one of the things I remember, I mean, I do this with all my students, obviously, but one of the things that I remember, like doing with Ryan was, we would make the tower challenge.
The Mortal Kombat
Yeah,
Tower.
yeah, we make it the Mortal Kombat because again, like like I wanted students to be able to connect everything that they love into music.
Mm-hmm.
Because music is, I mean, like anything in life, everything is all connected.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when you find that connection from music to other forms of media or just anything really, any connection you can make to it, it broadens your creativity,
Mm-hmm.
but it also helps you to realize that like whatever skills you learn in music, like you could take with you into anything. Because really, like, not only am I trying to help students become better musicians, but better human beings.
Right.
Because really, what it comes down to at the end, because without an instrument, without anything, who are you as a person? You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that's always been my goal with students, honestly, really.
Yeah, you got to show up with a better face for sure because if the business isn't what it used to be at one point or what it's supposed to be, then as I mentioned earlier, the students are looking forward to that moment.
Hmm.
You got to make the best of the situation, and again, remember that part of that kid's glow for the day is going to be that class.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's why, like, because again, like, for the when I was working there, like, I feel like the intention and the vision of the students is there, but I don't think it was really executed very well towards
mm-hmm.
the end. I think it started to lose focus. And I mean, of course, I'm sure it could just be like a business thing where it fell for a time, but, I think it was just not in line with what I originally
Mm-hmm.
started teaching, and it wasn't in line with that. So I told myself, like, I need to, where is the next step for me to grow also to,
Mm-hmm.
for myself, because all like something that I've always tried to, I guess, remind myself, right? Like, because it's like, because I think like as musicians, we there's it's kind of like in social media, right? You see a video of a drummer that's playing this like really cool thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? But what goes on behind the scenes?
Right.
Like the frustrations, the practices, the mistakes,
It's
right?
it's not always going to be spot on and as sharp as it is in that moment.
Exactly.
So.
And that's why, like, for me, like, one of the things that, behind the scenes, like, because I've had students that, of course, like anything, even for me too, like, when I was growing up, a lot of my instructors, like, or band directors, I would look up to them. But
Right.
then when you're working behind the scenes again, practicing, trying to get a piece down or whatever, trying to work on this lick or this groove, uh, there's a lot of mistakes that happen. It's very
Mm-hmm.
messy. And for me, one of the things, as a person, was having to sort of put myself first so I can give others the best. And I think when, as soon as like I left and made a lot of changes in my life, it was that moment where I had to take for myself so I could give to the students, to give better for the
I
students,
mean,
to
it
give
might sound
more.
cliche, but it relit that fire underneath you
Exactly.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I imagine with and I've told you I've told you time and time again. I think you're crazy talented. You're a hell of a musician. So I would imagine that atmosphere not feeling right to you isn't going to help you perform at your best either. It's not going to help you um, be the best you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And with I mean, I imagine there's people that are crazy talented too that'll make it work because they might be afraid to make the leap that you took.
Hmm.
But I mean, if you've got the talent and you're not happy there, you're gonna be well off wherever you go. I would
Yeah.
imagine.
Hmm.
So
No, and it's really like it's very I would say very heartwarming to hear that because
good.
a lot of people told me that, and I feel like just like you said, the thing is like if you have the talent, if you have the work ethic, if you have that mindset, wherever you go, like you're always going to succeed. And that's also something I want my students to understand too, because um, when they leave those lessons or like this, they just discontinue, music lessons maybe altogether, or because they head off into like another musical journey. I want them to remember that as well.
Mm-hmm.
That wherever they go, they're gonna shine the light because everything that they worked for, everything that they believe, everything that they stand for, they're the light of that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, whatever happens with me, right, in the sense of like the way I experience life, like I also want my students to like. I also want to teach them that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about the music, but beyond that, because again, that's what helps us create the best songs, or helps them write, or helps
Mm-hmm.
them just succeed in whatever endeavor that they choose to follow.
Right, right, right. And back to your students, though, I would say, like in Ryan's case, I know, and I'll speak on my behalf too after that. But I know Ryan's always going to remember his time with you for sure.
Hmm.
Ryan's going to remember that because he's a great drummer because of you. It reminds me some of the stuff that you were saying too was when I was younger. I went to art school after high school,
Yeah.
graphic design and computer animation. Did nothing with it except for a side hustle here and there, whatever. But whenever I was in Phoenix for art school, I had a friend that owned a music studio. I think I've said this story before on the studio. I mean, on the podcast. I mean,
Hmm.
but my mentor, my music teacher that I care a lot about, Angel Zamorano, bass guitarist.
Hmm.
I had met a friend named Manny first that had a home studio, and um, Manny worked with my buddy Juan at Intel, the computer company Intel,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
making the chips, the processors, whatever.
Yeah.
And Manny had a home studio that he'd only record more than anything Christian music. And then my mentor, he became my mentor afterwards, Angel Zamorano. He was recording uh, jazz music, salsa stuff like that, but also religious music as well. Um, the way I met Angel Zamorano though was through Manny with the studio was because Angel had recorded I think it was a gospel jazz record, and they needed somebody to come in and design the album cover for it. So lo and behold, they knew me. I designed the cover for that album, and then Angel offered up, "Hey man, I can't pay you so much right now, but if you'd like, I'll give you guitar lessons in payment." And I was a cocky kid, bro. And I see a lot of that in Mijo too. I was a cocky kid. I was still a teenager at the time.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, nah, man, I don't need classes. I've got this shit figured out. But then lo and behold, I took him up on his offer eventually, and I go to his house, dude. This guy was crazy talented too on bass. He played bass, two different things with each hand. I'm sure you've seen people do that
Oh
too.
yeah. Uh-huh.
It seems like they're playing piano or something on the bass.
Yeah.
but the dude was amazing, and his talent to me made him seem older and wiser.
Yeah.
But I think it turns out he was either exactly my age too, or a little bit younger, or a little bit older. We were pretty much the same age,
Yeah.
but just that talent, his know how made him seem a lot older and wiser, whatever. But anyway, I mentioned him because you're to Ryan what Angel was to me, in a sense.
Yeah.
Because I go back to my classes with Angel. I say Angel, I say Angel, whatever.
Hmm.
I go back to my classes with him, and being again a punk kid, I would tell him, I want to sound like this band, I want to sound like that band. Teach me how to sound this way.
Hmm.
And his advice was always, why don't you sound like you? Before you
Exactly.
try to sound like these guys, let's teach you the fundamentals, the way you were never taught before, and let's develop your own sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And every time, so I don't know how you and your bandmates that you've jammed out with before. I don't know what y'all's process is. With me, whenever I write music, it's always by accident.
Uh-huh.
But everything that I write, I always go back and I try to spice it up differently, saying to myself, like, what would Angel say about this?
Yeah.
Like,
Uh-huh.
I'll always take them into consideration, whether I do message them here and there on social media, whatever, but it's always in my head. This is a bit too basic. I think Angel would want me to spice that up or make it a little
Yeah.
bit different.
No, definitely. And actually, it's funny you mentioned that about being or having your own sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because essentially that's what it comes down to, And for me, it's the same way, that approach where, um, you want to learn the basics first, and because sometimes, like, I mean, everybody learns differently, like that's why, like, I've never really had like a set curriculum. Like, I have an idea of
Mm-hmm.
like a basic thing because really what it is that I'm just showing the students, like, if they're just like a beginner, I'm showing them how to understand the instrument first, because I think once you understand the mechanics of the instrument, then you'll understand, okay, like, if you're going to play a groove, if you're going to play a fill or whatever, right? If you're going to play a song, the idea is, if you don't know the the fundamentals of the instrument, it's, I mean, you could still kind of get away with being creative, but um I think when you have an understanding of the instrument itself, it makes it easier to start learning, of course, like, if you're going to learn, well, whatever it is that you're learning, right? And again, because I think, like, we tend to idolize, like, our,
Oh, for
like,
sure.
yeah, like our music, our favorite musicians, right? Like, I remember, I was the same way too. I think we all hit that where, like, you're like, yeah, I want to play like that guy. And I think it's obviously okay, because it's okay to have that mentality in the beginning, but of course you don't always want to think that. You want to think like, okay, well, like, this person is the one that inspired me into it. Okay, now where I can take it. Because actually, funny story, right? Like, my favorite drummer, the first drummer really that I was infatuated with was, I don't know if infatuation is the right word, but the first drummer that I was really that I looked up to a lot was the drummer from the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus,
Mm-hmm.
and his name was John Wilkes. And I think the reason why I inclined myself to him a lot first was because that was my favorite band.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started, like, looking into, like, like, his style, and I wanted to know more about him. And when I found out that he learned jazz, I was like, okay, well, and he dropped some names like, Max Roach, Tony Williams, and then I started, like, looking up those drummers, and that's when I started to become more deep in the world of jazz. And that's when I started to take on that. I was like, yeah, like, I want to play like that. And I always had this idea, like, why not take stuff from different styles of music into rock?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, like, for me, like, obviously, like, rock was my was, like, I guess, the style that I liked a lot. And it's kind of like with fusion. You have, like, fusion, which is like a mix of jazz and just other stuff. And I always like that idea because I feel like music really is just one big thing. There's just
Right.
little categories, like, which is like different people, different individuals. And as I started to get deeper into that, then I started to, like, I noticed that I wasn't clinging on to the way he would play. I would find other drummers that would play differently, and it all started from that.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, like, I remember finding myself like, oh, I would go back to those videos, and I'm like, man, like, I remember when I'm like, yeah, I want to play that, and I could already play it now, and I'm like, all right, well, what's the next step?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, you just, we're always evolving, we're always growing, really, as musicians. So
Yeah, I think with me, um, It was always the Chili Peppers from the get go, bro. That was my favorite band, and of course, Chad Smith as a drummer was amazing to me from the get go.
Hmm.
I knew I was built to play guitar, not drums. I don't know what I'm doing on drums, but I appreciate drums more than anything, you know. So whenever I go see bands live, because I've been to a lot of concerts, I go see my favorite bands a lot. Chili Peppers, I think I've seen 9 or 10 times in my lifetime.
Oh wow.
I've taken Ryan twice,
Yeah.
but
That's cool.
but to me, a bunch of my favorite bands, like with the Peppers, I'm obsessed with them for sure. I
Hmm.
still, at 45 years old, man, I'm a grown ass man. I still idolize my favorite artist, right? But I idolize John Frusciante, the guitarist, a
Yeah.
lot.
Hmm.
But even when he came back to the Peppers, of course, I'm happy to see him there for sure. But I find myself looking more at the backbone
Hmm.
at a show. I'm looking at Chad Smith on drums. I'm looking at Flea on the bass.
Yeah.
The way they're bouncing around, doing their thing. It's just as amazing as amazing as John Frusciante on guitar is to me. Like to me, it's even more amazing to watch Flea and Chad Smith play together. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they're amazing. And you know, it's not even just them. You're talking about fusion, how you want to mix everything into your music and what have you. I think that's why I appreciate the Peppers a lot too, because every album changes.
Yeah.
I remember you must have been young, but whenever Scar Tissue came out,
Hmm.
that album when John Frusciante came back after Dave Navarro left, whatever,
Hmm.
um, they released Scar Tissue, and it's different from everything else that they've released, you know.
Yeah.
And at first, you're like, young me was like, "What is this, man? I want the funk.
Yeah.
I want something funky. I want the classic Chili Pepper sound." But then it's still there. You listen to the album, it's still there, but it's more creative. It's more reminiscent of John Frusciante's solo music,
Hmm.
where bands got to grow up, bands got to mature,
Yeah.
and that's why I love them. And not just that, even with bands like the Foo Fighters. Again, it's going to be a bunch of commercial bands that I mentioned. But the reason I love these bands is because, like, even the Foo Fighters, if it sounds good to them, they make it work.
Yeah.
If it sounds poppy, as a pop rock, if it sounds metal, they make it work. They make it their sound. It kicks ass.
Hmm.
And I think that's the way my mind works too. Like, again, when I write music, it's all by accident.
Hmm.
I know what I'm doing subconsciously.
Yeah.
I trip on my fingers and I find something that works. And sometimes I've been able to tap into whatever energies are around me, I guess, not to sound like a hippie or whatever. But sometimes stuff, I'll tune the guitar differently and I find something almost immediately, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thought process with me where if it sounds good, I'm going to use it.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's the way I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. And actually that's why like like on the subject of the Chili Peppers, Chad Smith, like very good, very great pocket drummer. Like he has
Mm-hmm.
like you can tell that there's something there. And I remember one time I was hearing, I can't remember if it was like a Drumeo interview. It was some kind of interview, but he was talking about his inspirations being from like Motown.
Yeah,
And I'm like, that's like really cool
yeah,
because
because
like
he's
you
from
wouldn't
Detroit.
exactly, yeah, he's a
Yeah,
Detroit guy, and that's where Motown is like the hometown of Motown, right? I guess. And it was really interesting. And then to find out also that he recorded drums on, I'm not sure if it's Dua Lipa. He recorded
mm,
drums on a song, and I think I'm not sure
maybe.
if it was Dua Lipa, but when I found that out, I was like, "That's so cool!" Like the drummer for Red Hot Chili Peppers, like a funk rock band, recorded for like a pop artist. Like,
Well, he did Alanis Morissette back in the day too with "You Ought to Know." That was, I think, Taylor Hawkins was her drummer,
uh huh,
but I'm pretty sure in "You Ought to Know," I think I might be mistaken, but I think it's Chad Smith.
mm-hmm, yeah, like
But
it. It's crazy to think like that they because it shows the range. Of a musician. I think that's like something. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with like let's just say if you're like a rock musician, you only know like rock or whatever style. But I think when you have that versatility, um, there's a lot more to create in a
mhm.
sense, because you can take things from other styles. And that's why, like, when I would hit plateaus, if I was writing drum parts, I would always try to learn a different style of music,
Hmm.
whether that was a groove or even just study another drummer, like, because that's where it would help me to realize, okay, like maybe I can incorporate a little bit of this, or I like that this drummer does that. Maybe I can kind of try to steal that a little bit and how to make it my own. Because on the subject of writing, right? Like usually when I would write with bands, like there was always one person that had like a layout. and
The sandbox for you guys to play in.
exactly, yeah. So there was already like that sandbox, right? So in the case of when I would write songs with Collide the Gemini, Chris would have the guitar parts written. Sometimes there would be like little empty spots where he's like, you know what, I don't know what to do here, but we'll see where it takes us. So he would have like an idea for a drum part, but I always ended up changing it,
Hmm.
and which was the purpose of it, like it was more like a placeholder, just so
Hmm.
that he had an idea, that we had like some form of tempo. And then eventually, when I would write in and incorporate a lot of my parts, it would help influence the parts that weren't written, or it would help us to make certain transitions. And I feel like with Collide the Gemini, it was a little bit more creative because we kind of I know a lot of people like they like to relate to us with either Fall of Troy or the Mars Volta,
Hmm.
and it's just like because I remember when we were Collide the Gemini, actually when that band first started, we were called the Roaring Twenties, so it was a different band.
Hmm.
I had just graduated high school, started my first year of college, and we were just young dudes writing music and just getting crazy, and then eventually uh we when it started to like our sound started to change because Chris and I started to grow also as musicians,
Hmm.
and so eventually Collide the Gemini kind of became about, and it became like a more organized version of whatever we had.
Hmm.
And so again, my approach was like everything that I learned as a musician, like if it was from jazz or Afro-Cuban music, samba, or I'm not like samba, but like Afro-Brazilian music or whatever. um I would take some of those things and try to incorporate it, but to where it made sense to, you know.
Hmm.
And I mean, of course, not that you're going to try to throw in everything that you can do in one song, but it's just like if I would hear something, I'd be like, you know what, I want to emphasize that more. Or in this part, you know what, like let me, instead of like focusing on pocket, I'm going to focus a little bit more on accents. Or this part, you know what, I think if I lay the pocket down, I think it's going to sound really cool.
Hmm.
And that's kind of like usually how I approach it. And then with Ness Daniels, it's kind of the same thing. But again, there's a freedom of me to implement something. But obviously, it's a little bit different because in the synth wave, it's a little
Right.
bit more pocket. So with Collide, I could go a little bit more crazier. But with synthwave, it's more like 4/4. Like I mean, obviously, you can make anything synthwave, but to kind of follow that formula of the time,
Hmm.
right? It's very 4/4 based. But my approach with that was, I also admire a lot of gospel drummers,
Hmm.
and they're very great at, uh, so like, in drumming, right? Like you have like certain hits, right? Like you hit on the crash, like to follow the ensemble, and you have to know how to fill that in.
Right.
Like if you're gonna like not to really like do fills, but sometimes to set up those hits.
Hmm.
And I remember taking a bunch of lessons on like, yeah, like we would learn from a book, we would have like certain like notes, and we would have to like learn like the rhythm, and then from there we would have to, okay, how do you how are you going to set up those hits, how are you going to set up those uh or that rhythm or whatever, or how are you going to turn that into a groove. So I started taking that approach like a gospel drummer
Hmm.
for the synthwave stuff, because I was like, well, if I'm gonna play drums, like I want something to stand out more. Because sometimes I would hear music and there's like a really simple beat and it's great, like to keep pocket, but I think to make it music a little bit more interesting, why not emphasize certain parts of the melody? And that's something I've always tried to incorporate when writing, at least for me, as a
Right.
drummer.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I've seen a bunch of those gospel drummers on. It's not Drumeo, but it's a similar channel where they show them rock songs, and they got
Yes.
and usually it's the drummer and the bassist,
Yeah.
and more often than not, it's a song that they've never heard. I remember one of them was um, Offspring, Green Day,
Yeah.
Everlong by the Foo Fighters, and some of these guys figured out their own way pretty cool.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think a bunch of their drum parts are a lot more complicated than the actual artist
Oh yeah.
more often than not.
Honestly, yeah. And I think because, yeah, I know, like obviously like we're saying, right, like when it comes to music, like it's funny. There's a phrase, and I tell my students this a lot. Like as a musician, you want to serve the music. And then the other day, I was hearing a drummer that was kind of talking on the opposing side of that, where he was Like, yeah, like you want to serve the music. He's like, but at the same time, you are the musician. You are the music.
Mm-hmm.
And when he said that, I was like, you know what? That's true because on the subject of how do you play like yourself with when it comes to serving the music, like, okay, well, you are the music. And that's why, like, for me, because I remember one of the things that I used to get told a lot when I would play was like, oh, you're keeping it too busy. Like, just lay in the pocket. And of course, that has its value. 100% has its value. 100%. But I think that
You lose signature in that
exactly
sense.
you lose signature, you lose, uh, that creativity. Because then, like for me, I would find myself like not playing like me. I would hold back a lot because I was always scared that like they're gonna get mad at me because like I added that little ghost note or I was adding like 16 notes when it should have just been quarter notes or something like that. So I feel like obviously there has to be like a balance between the two, right? Like because there's a line where yes, it's true you have to serve the music because it's not just about you,
Mm-hmm.
but you are the music. So how do you balance that where you are playing to the song, but also expressing yourself?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's why I think like channels like that where you hear like drummers hear this for the first time. Um, like it's really interesting how they take drummers and they have them play something out of their range.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I saw I can't remember who the drummer was, but it was a jazz drummer that did a rendition of "Smells Like Teen Spirit." And I'm not sure if it was "Smells Like Teen Spirit." It might have been "In Blue." It was one of the Nirvana songs, but
Mm-hmm.
the way he played it was really interesting. I started even incorporating that too, like when I would play like with my students every now and again when they would want to learn it. And it just you just see how like there's just so many ways to play one song. You
Right.
know, it's not just one. There's many ways.
But then going back to Drumeo, whenever they showed Chad Smith critiquing whoever played one of their songs, I think it was "Give It Away." Was it the guy from Jared Leto's band? It might have been him. Might have been somebody else.
Uh huh.
But he was calling out wherever they played the parts wrong. And it's like, well, yeah, but that's your signature, man. You know, that's your signature sound. Clearly, he's gonna play it a little bit different. But
Yeah.
he was nitpicking. I get that for guitar and bass more than anything. But
Yeah.
for drums, I mean, there's room to. I think there's more room to play as a drummer.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah, I would say so too, because I think like as a musician or like if you're like a guitar player, like as a I guess a string instrument, or if you're a hey, sorry, it's because he's trying to
Oh, he's good.
get over here. You're gonna get lost, dude.
So at the top of the episode, I should have said it wasn't just Brian Carvajal; it's also his pet,
Yeah,
Koji.
yeah, Koji, he comes with me everywhere.
Cool looking dog.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. All my students, everywhere I go, everybody knows him, so they know me. And if I don't show up, or if I show up and he's not there with me, they're like, "Where's Koji?" Yeah. But anyways, like as we were saying, all right, what were we talking about again? I forgot.
So yeah, having more room to play as a drummer in music compared to the other instruments.
Oh yes, okay, yeah. So because I feel like obviously like as like a string instrument or like any kind of melodic instrument, really, you're bound to the melody.
Right.
Unless you have like a solo section where like you can, you know, be free to do anything. But I think like as a drummer, there's different ways where like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna throw this kind of groove on there, you know, and I think that's why like arrangements are very cool, and that's why like I like the originals of songs, but then I start finding myself gravitating more towards like the other arrangements or covers that
Mm-hmm.
people do because I'm like they're emphasizing something that either I would have done or they're doing something that I would have never thought of, and it just not that it makes the music like, oh yeah, like it's all about this drummer. Like I feel like it just helps amp up the song itself
Mm-hmm.
more, you know.
And I think for sure it's with my favorite artists. Like if they venture off with another artist, like you were saying, what's his name, Chad Smith with Dua Lipa, maybe.
Mhm.
I'm sure if I hear that song, I know it's him
Mhm.
because I know his signature sound already at this point. All these years of listening to the Peppers. Same thing with Taylor Hawkins, Dave Grohl, and
Mhm.
of course Metallica's Lars Ulrich has his own sound that people are making fun of more often than not. Have you seen that? Because
Yeah.
of how he bangs like real stiff, whatever.
Yeah.
He's not my favorite drummer, but I love Metallica.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been listening to all these drummers for so long, and Brad Will from Audioslave, Rage Against the Machine, I love him too. Matt Cameron, amazing. But if I hear these guys play almost anywhere, I know it's them. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
like just because I listen to the music on a crazy level, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think when you're listening to music as a musician, you start to understand things more. Like,
Hmm.
and that's what it's funny because I don't know if you've ever seen I think he was on the George Lopez show one time when he had like his like talk show. When George Lopez had his
Hmm.
talk show, Prince was on,
Hmm.
and Prince was talking about how he doesn't listen to music or he doesn't watch like musical shows like America's Got Talent because he's always thinking, what could I do with that? You know?
Hmm.
And I think that's why like for myself too, like I mean, I'm always listening to music though. Like
Hmm.
I'm always like, but I'm listening to like a broad variety of music. Like sometimes I'm listening to gospel music, of course, jazz, progressive rock, or like if it's some kind of synthwave stuff. And even as I'm like listening to it, I'm like, huh, if I was playing drums on this, like I'd probably do this or I'd do that. And I enjoy it, but then there's
Hmm.
times where I do get like I've already had my mind so much on music, like let me get away from something else, you know?
Yeah.
Which is why people should check out a podcast like this.
Yeah, and you know what? So I listen to comedy a lot too, and a bunch of my favorite comedians they talk about how they don't listen to other comedians either because of they're afraid they might have a similar thought later on. Parallel thinking is what they call it, right?
Yeah.
And they don't want to be accused of stealing a joke or
Yeah.
whatever or whatever. I think music is different because for sure. So like whenever I write music, like when it's just me and Ryan in this room jamming out,
Uh-huh.
like as much as I love the Chili Peppers, as much as I love Soundgarden's actually Soundgarden was the first band I ever found love with. But as much as I love them, my music sounds nothing like them. I don't
Hmm.
think.
Yeah.
But whenever it's just me and Ryan here jamming out, and he's into the same bands that I'm into, right? But we'll be
Hmm.
jamming out. I'll ask him, "Hey, boy, what does this sound like to you?"
Yeah.
And he'll tell me, right? Hey, Daddy, to me it sounds like this. To me it sounds like that. Whatever the case might be.
Uh-huh.
But what's crazy is I'm thinking the same thing more often than not. Yeah, that does sound like this to me. That does sound like that to me. But the second we go into the studio and record it, at least to me, it sounds nothing like our
Hmm.
original thought.
Yeah. And
But my music does sound very 90s, I think.
yeah.
But,
No, it definitely does has that 90s feel. But that's what I like about it because, you know, I'm actually a 90s baby. I was born
mm,
95. And a lot of the music, like again, Soundgarden was something I would hear on the radio, like if my mom had the radio on or
best
whatever.
vocalist alive, or not anymore, but ever.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. Like it's funny because on the subject of that, like you know, I actually grew up listening to Elvis music because of my mom.
Hmm.
She'd be cleaning the house, and obviously I'm the youngest of four kids. So when my siblings were out in school, you know, of course I was with her, and she would be cleaning the house, and I'd be like, you know, playing with my toys, living in my own little world, and she'd be playing Elvis's music. So actually, Elvis was the first person that actually got me into music because
Hmm.
I had this like a onesie thing that I would wear to be like the jumpsuit, and
Hmm.
then I would have my hair like this, like you know, like the Elvis hair.
Right.
And then I remember I had like I can't remember who had gotten it for me, probably my mom or you know one of my siblings probably knows, but I had a microphone. It was a red microphone with a stand and like a red guitar. And when my mom would play the live videos of Elvis,
Hmm.
I would be like, you know, like lip singing to him because like,
Right.
and that's how I admired him. And that's when everything started to kind of shift. Because actually, my oldest brother, he's a well, not like he doesn't do it as a career, but he loved dancing.
Hmm.
And one of his favorite musicians was Michael Jackson. So I was also into Michael Jackson, and then I started noticing I would copy my brother. I would try to dance like him too, and then eventually drums just kind of came out more on my own. And it's funny because I think about it, I'm like, wow, like drums was not the first instrument I liked. It was actually singing, and then
Hmm.
it was dancing, and then I was like, and here's drums, and then I took it from there.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Do you play guitar or anything else too, or no?
No,
No.
actually, it just, I mean, I know a little bit of piano, but just because when you go into music college, like every musician has to take piano class
Hmm.
because that's where you learn all
Yeah.
the theory and all that. So I do know a little bit of it, but like if you ask me, like, hey, can you play piano like for this gig? No, like I would not be able to.
So going back to your classes at well with your students teaching,
Uh-huh.
so I did start getting classically trained at school too
Yeah.
myself. We had Mr. Borrego at Socorro High School, and he had a pretty popular jazz band here in El Paso. But once tablature came out,
Uh-huh.
and once the internet came out, I threw that shit out the window,
Yeah.
and I regret it, bro. And going back to your teachings, the reason I bring this up is because that's why I'm glad that Ryan learned from you because he's a traditionally taught also, you know.
Yeah.
And he knows his notes because of you.
Yeah.
He's in band now, and according to I think because my cousin works at the Middle School also, where Ryan goes to school. But he's the only. Actually, no, the chick at registration also, lady, not chick, whatever. The lady at the registration office told me the same thing, that he was the only sixth grader in advanced band because of his talent. So,
Yeah, that's so good. I mean, I'm so happy to hear that, honestly, because and it's funny, like, obviously not to glow. This isn't about me, right? But it makes me happy when I hear that, because it's not the first time I hear that. Like, a
mhm.
lot of my students, actually, it was funny because my I have a few students that they're in band, but they play something else. Like, I think one of my students, he's a trombone player, and I believe the other one I was talking to, I believe he was a trumpet player. And I remember one time I was asking him in band, I was like, "Hey, what are you guys learning in band right now?" He's like, "Oh, we're still on eighth notes and quarter rests." And I'm like, and we were already talking about like six tuplets and 30-second notes, and I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh, dude," I was like, "You're already ahead of everybody right now." Like, I was like, so I would try to find way, and I think that's why it really helps for them to have like that instruction, because then they're ahead of everybody
It
else.
builds their foundation on a better level.
Exactly. Yeah. And
So oh no, go ahead.
oh,
Sorry.
and actually, because just like a little thought too, like, well, not more like a thought, but it was something I've noticed too, is that when you're a band, I mean, again, I mean, I've never taught like a full band, but a band director usually leads the whole band. And I always found myself, because even it happened for me too, like, I never really had an instructor growing up. A lot of it was self-taught. Everything was by ear. And I remember something that I was told a lot in high school was, a lot of my band directors would tell me, "You're the first person in 7 years that has come to this school with natural musical talent." And I I always liked hearing that, but I'll be honest, I never believed it.
Yeah.
I always, because I was always thinking, what can I do better? How can I improve? And
Those are the signs, man. You
yeah,
know,
it was a sign.
it's humility, it's humbleness,
Hmm.
it's
Yeah, no, and I think that's where, like, for myself, like, one thing I had to learn was, I mean, because of course, right, humility is very important, but I think you also have to understand your own level too. You have to understand what you're worth, really, and
mhm.
that was a conversation I remember I would have with my band directors a lot, where they were always telling me, like, you're a lot better than you think, and again, I mean, of course, we can always learn, and I'm not saying that I'm like the best, right? Because there's always something I could do better, but um, s- the passion was already there for me, and it was more like, okay, how do I take this talent that I have? How can I build on that to create what it is that I desire?
Mhm.
And I never thought I'd be teaching. I thought I was just going to be a performer. But I think, looking back at it, um, I've always liked helping people, and I feel like with music, that sort of, it's kind of like helping people, really.
Mhm.
Like how we said, like, before, and I think that for myself, really, like, I think I was always going to be a teacher.
Mhm.
And I think once I started teaching, I was like, yeah, I was like, I think this is what I like. This is what I love doing.
Good. Yeah. Two thoughts real quick. Going back to band. So Ryan had a Christmas recital
Yeah.
recently, right?
Uh-huh.
And there again, he's an advanced band. They didn't have him do anything too complicated, but between whatever he was doing, they also had a jazz band.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling Ryan, because they got the drum set there too. I'm like, dude, that's what you got to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
He's in mariachi too. He's gonna learn. He's learning guitar and mariachi.
Oh, good.
But I'm kind of like pushing him towards jazz band.
Mm-hmm.
But he's of the mindset where I'm already great at drums. I want to learn everything else.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude. So my homeboy Oscar, his son, was the drummer for the jazz band. He also plays bass guitar. But I think he's about to go to high school.
Yeah.
So I'm telling Ryan, that's where you could step in and take over the drums, bro.
Yeah.
I call him Way, not bro, but just it's out of love, right?
Yeah, of
I'm like
course.
Way, that's what you got to be doing right
Yeah.
there, bro. And but he's got his own destiny lined up for himself, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping he gets into jazz band because I think that's gonna help him out a lot too. And my second thought on that jazz band, why I kind of want them there, and some of the stuff that you were saying about yourself. So they had like a little swing type drum beat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've got the saxophone players, the trumpet players, trombone players.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 6 of them total, 2 of each instrument, I think, if I remember correctly. And these kids, I was truly amazed by them, their talent. But 2 of them, especially, if I remember correctly, 2 of them, the first kid on saxophone, and I think the first one on trumpet, or it might have been the second one on saxophone also. Can't remember. But the first kid was on saxophone for sure. They gave him a little break to do a solo
Mm-hmm.
on their instrument, and that first kid kicked ass. They all did great, but the first kid kicked ass. The second person I thought I'm talking about kicked ass too, not to the extent of the first kid,
Mm-hmm.
but if I was a band director like you were talking about, if I could rush the stage and tell these kids, like, honestly, it was their nerves that held them back a little bit,
Yeah.
because I'm like, this kid's amazing, but he's letting his nerves get the best of him.
Yeah.
But I could hear how great he was.
Yeah.
I was like, man, if he wasn't nervous when he went up there, and that's what Ryan has, he doesn't get nervous at anything, bro.
Yeah. No, that's good. He has
So
that confidence.
he's got more confidence than I ever did.
Yeah. No, and I mean, it really does go a long way to have that kind of confidence. And then again, on the subject of like band directing, um, I've noticed that it's like when I've helped, because I've also helped out at like other schools, like at different districts. Like I helped out at Isleta, and I've helped out at Sanelli and also Socorro. And I've noticed that usually the band directors are really great at helping the majority of the band,
Mm-hmm.
but they usually struggle with the percussion parts. And so that's where sometimes, they'll bring me in, and I've gone to help, and I've realized that sometimes, not saying that the band directors are there are like bad teachers, but I think because they have a bigger responsibility, it's hard to, uh, I guess, to devote time to like every single student. And I think that's where, like, for myself, like like recently I've been thinking, I'm like, well, if I was gonna like lead a whole group, like how can I like tend to that? And that's where, like, when I started working at like the different studios, like because at first uh I had started working at Melody Factory first. They were trying to get a kid to get into drumline, so they didn't know anybody else that could teach that, at least that they trusted, so they reached out to me. And I remember from when he first started to the month or 2 months that he ended his class, like I could already see the improvement. I don't know if he got in,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, but it makes me happy to see that progress,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, would they have had that same progress if they were just relying on themselves,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And then eventually later on, I went to Whiptail, and it was the same thing. Like on the subject of being able to teach multiple students at a time, I've had experience. Like I remember I had a class one time of 6 kids in a class. And I've had people tell me, "How do you have that patience?" I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know where that comes from. But I just like I don't know. Like I guess because there's that drive there for me to want to help everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like the schools, I mean, I could be full of it right now, but I'm sure in some schools they could work on that a little bit, you know?
I would assume
Uh-huh.
on that thought, I would assume that the instructors probably played whatever instrument they played, the horns or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wrong, but I would imagine that they're probably thinking, let's get the horns and everything else that's melodic to sound right.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like the drums, as long as they stay in pocket, we'll be all right. As long as we keep it simple, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
But let's focus on the bread and butter of the band, whatever.
Yeah.
I imagine that's probably the train of thought,
In a sense.
but it would benefit them to have.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why, like, when you hit high school, that's why you have uh more than one. Like you have a band director, like a lead band director, but then you have like an instructor for to help out with the saxophones or the different instruments, and I think that helps a lot, and of course I'm sure then it gets into the subject of like the funding for the schools and everything like that. But because I remember when I started, like I said, I never had a teacher, and I've always like had this like desire, or really this urge to want to learn. and I never had that. I mean, first of all, I could never afford it when I was young. And then when I went into school, I was like, well, that was my only chance to really play. And I mean, luckily it was for free, I didn't have to pay anything. Um, but it wasn't until again I went into high school. One of the band directors there, Andres Rodriguez, he great drum set player. Little backstory on him. I remember hearing that when he was younger, he placed number 4 in the nation on tenors when he competed.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hear that guy play, man, like he's amazing. Like a lot of the way I play too is because of him. And the same way, again, like you said, like the way I'm to Ryan, he was like that for me.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference was I didn't have like weekly lessons with him, but he was one of the directors, so I did get to work with him quite a bit to sort of understand, uh, or and sort of to improve on the instrument. And it's funny because fast forward to so many years later, last year actually, he reached out to me because we ran into each other at the mall and we started like talking, catching up. So he plays for a country band called Down by Four. That's local here. And shout out to Thomas. He's he plays violin in that band. So it was cool because uh, he had asked like, "Hey, can you cover for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, like I'm down." Like it's funny, like my band director, the one I idolized so much,
Mm-hmm.
asked me to like cover, and I was like, "Oh yes, like of course." I was so excited. I'll be honest, I wasn't excited about the country part because I'm not really a country guy, but it started to grow on me, and I knew that was gonna happen because that's happened with me with everything. It happened to me with playing bossa. I've never liked playing bossa. I thought it was so boring.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start playing, you start to understand. You're like, you know what? There's like some pretty cool things that you can do with it. And so, like, I think there's a video online of them playing of Down by Four playing it was that country fest that they had in downtown recently. And when you hear that guy play, it's like I was like, wow, like I haven't heard this in so long. And I'm like listening to the video, I'm like, yeah, I probably could have like incorporated that too. And I'm like, I find myself enjoying watching him because I always enjoyed watching him.
Mm-hmm.
And to reconnect with him, I think was just something, especially like during a time that I was honestly like I was probably at the, not to get too deep or anything like that, but I was at one of the lowest points in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and to reconnect with him, I think really helped to, again, like you said, like reignite,
Revitalize.
yeah, and then also reignite that fire. And I think when you have that that guidance, it really helps you to redirect sometimes. Kind of like how as human beings we look to faith to be better people,
For sure.
or whatever, like I feel like a lot of it's the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to watch my mentor too whenever I go to his classes, and again, he's a bass player, right? And he played for a bunch of big acts. He played for Luis Miguel, Alejandra Guzman,
Oh wow.
and on stateside he played R&B for, I can't remember what all artists, but I remember Natalie Cole was one of them.
Oh wow.
And he had the photo albums where he's showing me himself playing in different countries, whatever. But I remember I'd start watching him play, and as a bass guitarist, he'd be like, "Dude, you probably better benefit from learning from my friend. He plays guitar. He's like, I can teach you the fundamentals on guitar too, but you'd probably benefit more from my buddy." And I was like, "No, dude, from what I'm watching you in front of me, I'm gonna learn a lot from you." And I stuck with him,
Yeah.
because again, it was always like you're talking about your mentor Andres. I'm watching this dude play, and my mouth was always dropping to the ground. How amazing he was.
Yeah.
And I don't think, no, I don't think, I know my talent never got to his level, but I did learn a lot from him. And it's like,
Hmm.
that's why I think if I'm not showing it, genetically it transferred over to Ryan for sure.
Yeah.
My slack was picked up by Ryan for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, because dude, he'll pick up anything and he'll figure it out. Maybe he's not doing it right. Like, excuse me, guitar lessons he won't take from me,
Hmm.
which is probably good because I'm going to teach him wrong anyway. But guitar lessons, he picked it up by himself and started picking up stuff on his own. Now he's getting classes at school with mariachi, so he's gonna figure that out too.
Hmm.
Bass guitar, I got him his acoustic bass for Christmas. He figures it out. He wants an accordion now, and he's got the accordion app on the iPad. And dude, he makes sense of it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure once he gets one, if ever he gets one,
Yeah.
if he's listening, he's gonna figure it out too. So
Yeah.
it's, I think a lot of that is genetic, bro.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it is because it's weird. Like on the genetic part of music, like I said, music was not the first passion I had. It
Mhm.
was well, really, it was actually drawing because my dad,
Same.
yeah, like my dad was an artist, and I guess he picked up that talent from I believe his uncle, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember I used to draw a lot. And that was something that I think a lot of people thought when I was a kid that I was gonna be this like artist.
Same.
But then I went over to music. And then I think that a lot of that creativity, being able to draw, translated to that. Um, so that's why, like, and again, like a lot of like, again, my family, they love music, but none of them were musicians.
Hmm.
Like, it was, I think I'm probably like I mean, unless if for some reason, like thousands of years ago, there was a musician in my
Hmm.
family, right? But at least from what I know, like, I'm probably like the first,
Hmm.
that picked that up.
Yeah, I got drawing from my mom. I think my mom had told me that my dad, if he actually sits down and attempts to draw, he's actually okay too.
Uh-huh.
But we got it from my mom because my brothers all drew also.
Yeah.
Me more than anything. And again, that's why I went to art school too, right?
Mhm.
But I remember every job I've had, even before I went onto the railroad where I'm at now, my job's here in El Paso. I'd make caricatures of my coworkers, making fun of them. I draw them doing stupid shit, and they'd always be pretty good, pretty
Yeah.
good.
I gotta see those.
But I've got some on my Facebook and my old images, but they're there. I'll give you a quick story shortly after I say this.
Mhm.
But everywhere I'd go, people would be like, "You're in the wrong business, man. You're in the wrong business. You should be getting paid for your art."
Mhm.
But honestly, I love El Paso. I don't see myself leaving El Paso, and
Mhm.
unless you're working freelance, which I've done here and there also.
Mhm.
Um, I'm sure I'd have to look for the money, right? It
Uh-huh.
doesn't always pay the bills, you know.
Yeah.
Art doesn't always pay the bills. Is a fact of the matter. Like even with the railroad, some of my coworkers, not recently but before, they'd say the same thing. You're in the wrong business, bro. I'm like, no, no, I've got my bills paid. I'm good.
Yeah, you're like, I'm where I need to be.
But excuse me, something you touched about when you were talking about SS9 earlier
Mhm.
that you touched base on. I think with me too, though, like with art itself, if it becomes a chore, if it becomes a job, I don't enjoy it as much either.
Yeah.
So that's why I just do it on the side, you know.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's and I was gonna share. Oh, so about my coworker, we had a guy. Um, I used to work for Job Cemex, the rock quarry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I worked at all of them, but mainly the one on Alabama by McCalgan Canyon.
Yeah. Mhm.
And we had a coworker. He was in charge of the warehouse. Well, he told us to call him Dog. That was his nickname, Dog. But he was this short dude, stocky, real big, fat head, very machista, old school Mexican machista. So on purpose, I would draw him doing crazy shit, right? Like I draw him in lingerie, whatever,
And the
and
most feminine thing.
I'd do the craziest shit to him, and he would tell me, "Hey, my chick's gonna kick your ass." I took a picture of the drawing. I showed it to her. She said she's gonna kick your ass next time she sees you, whatever. But I'd keep on drawing him, bro. That was badass. But everywhere I go, man, I draw people. I've even got my buddy Lonnie. He works for the railroad too,
Uh-huh.
but he'll send me drawings at random too, and his style looks more like Mike Judge from Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
It's simpler drawings, but
Uh-huh.
you know exactly who he drew, and it's always hilarious, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So I think I do more so my art is more so for fun now
Yeah.
than anything.
Mhm.
And every once in a while, like I'm working on a drawing right now for a buddy that has a lemonade truck
Mhm.
here in El Paso. So I drew his logo for that, and he's had it for years. And he actually just reached out. He wants shout out Ramsey. He wants a corn dog character now, caricature.
Ooh.
He's gonna start selling corn dogs too. So I'm supposed to finish that this weekend, hopefully.
Yeah. Wait. Which lemon truck is it?
Quenchers.
Oh, okay. I know which one.
And
So
Ramsey's a drummer too.
actually, I know Ramsey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I actually met Ramsey when I was in high school. I met him through a mutual friend, and we jammed out together like a few times.
Right.
And I remember like always being at like I always admired the way he played. He was
Mhm.
amazing metal player,
He's
honestly.
been since he was small también.
Yeah, and same thing. Like it's funny because he kind of reminds me of Ryan a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Like the same thing.
So get this. I was kind of gonna say that because I was gonna say I've known Ramsey since he was a kid too, right?
Yeah.
And Ryan's just as cocky as Ramsey used to be.
I definitely see it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And the long hair.
Yeah, the long hair and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so cool. And actually, it's funny too. Uh, my my second oldest brother, he does physical therapy, and
Mhm.
I think when Ramsey's dad had a stroke, my brother was his
Gilbert.
he was his physical therapist. And one time I remember I had posted a picture with my family, and Ramsey was like, "Oh, hey, like that guy, like how my pops," and I was like, "Oh, no way," and I'm like, "What the heck?" Like we're all like
Small world.
connected. Yeah, small world.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, Gilbert, before I knew Ramsey, pues I would see him at Benny's pawn shop.
yeah.
And I used to go to Benny's pawn shop to look at the guitars or play with them. And I think I bought a couple things there because
Hmm.
before Guitar Center, we had Brooke Mays. But even before Brooke Mays Music, that closed too. Once Guitar Center came into play,
Hmm.
Benny's pawn shop was one of the few places that you'd be able to buy new instruments
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
amps and everything. They
Yeah.
specialized in it.
Hmm.
Not so much anymore, but I remember seeing Gilbert, and later on, I mean, as fate would have it, my younger brother had married Ramsey's cousin, so that's how I knew Ramsey.
Uh-huh.
They're not together no more. Besides the point, but Ramsey's a good dude. Gilbert's a
Yeah.
good dude.
Hmm.
They're a good family.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, they all are. Like I've met. I mean, I didn't know the family too much, but I remember I met the dad a couple times. But yeah, Ramsey was always cool. Like I remember, like we always had like good times. I remember we used to go to his house and we had like bonfires there and
Hmm.
just be listening to music and I remember like that was the first time I had actually I think really experienced like a bonfire. Like
Hmm.
I never knew what that was. Like really like I was
So you grew up in what side of town then?
actually I was in the Lower Valley. Yeah, I was in the Lower Valley, so that's where I grew up.
Yeah, because down here in Socorro, that's what you'd see everywhere. Every family party, a bonfire.
Yeah.
It smells like a burnt tire mixed with mesquite.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah, no, those are good times. Good times for sure.
Yeah. So one of the things I haven't asked you yet. So when was your first, or when did you get your first drum set?
Ooh, actually that story is interesting. So when I got my first drum set actually, I was in middle school. I believe I was eighth. Yeah, I was in eighth grade. And I grew up from a low income family. Like like literally we just got like child support, but it wasn't even like much, and we were just really like we didn't have money for anything.
Getting by.
Yeah, just getting by. We lived in government housing, um and I remember like I'm not sure. Yeah, actually, I think it was only like about $60 we would get from child support for 4 kids,
Hmm.
and
I used to pay almost 1,000 for Ryan before I got primary custody.
really.
Yes.
Wow. And then learning that side of it is also one thing too, because I remember I talked about it with my dad before he passed, and I was like, oh, so that's how it worked. And because again, like my dad also didn't make very much money, so it was understandable that we also weren't getting much.
Hmm.
And so I remember from the $60 that we were getting, um, I can't remember why it wasn't dispersed out to all of us, because like we would get food stamps.
Hmm.
So it was like however much money we would get. But I mean, we were able to, get by with it. But I remember saving that money for so long, because I remember I would just ask my mom, I'm like, hey, like, so the child support money, like what do we use it for? And she was like, oh, it's just here for the house. And I was like when you get it, can you just give it to me? I don't remember what I told her. It was something like that. I mean, I wasn't trying to be like stingy or anything, but I just started saving it. I don't
Hmm.
know, for whatever reason. I used to like always save money. I was always saving coins. I remember I had like this like Folgers like coffee thing with like full of change. I don't know. I just had this weird habit of saving money, which is I'm sure is a good habit, right?
Oh, for sure.
And
A habit I wish I had.
yeah, yeah, no, and I think it helps when you grow up poor, because it's like you have to sort of appreciate what you have. And then eventually, I started counting how much I had, and I had about exactly $284. And Guitar Center would send the monthly mail of like whatever they were selling, and one of the drum sets there was about 250. And I was like, well, I have 284, so let me go buy one. So I had my brother take me, but I didn't tell him I was gonna buy it. I don't know why I didn't tell him, but I just told him like, hey, let's go to Guitar Center. So we went, and and so I'm like, you know what, I want that drum set. And they're like, all right, cool. And they're charging me. The total price was 281. I barely made it. And those
Okay.
$3. Actually, it's funny. I still have those $3. I never used them. I don't know. They're safe somewhere, but I kept it.
Right.
And I remember we took that drum set home that day, and my brother was like, "What the heck is in that box?" I'm like, "A drum set." He was like, "Okay." So we just packed it in the car, went home. I set it up myself. I put it all together, and then eventually, like, I started saving up money and got cymbals, and then and that's how it started. And and at the time, I was in a jazz band for middle school, and so I would use that time to practice. But it's just, I did live in an apartment, so it actually was hard to practice because noise complaints and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So I would literally set the drum set and air drum. That's how I would
Mm-hmm.
practice because I
Yeah,
couldn't make a lot of noise. So that was my first experience with that.
that's a good story, man. No, we always did okay. Like my dad always had a good job. But the difference is we didn't live like we had all the money either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I know I always talk about it with my brothers. Well, with my younger brother especially,
Hmm.
how we wore Payless shoes. We wore Rustlers from Walmart, the jeans. You know.
Yeah.
So the older I got, that's why I meant to. I wear nothing but Levi's, right? Because
Hmm.
that's my thing. Levi's
Yeah.
and my shoes got to be Chucks. I wear this. I'm wearing Nikes right now, but it's one of my few pairs.
Yeah.
But I'm used to wearing Chucks. Because back in the day, Chucks didn't cost what they do now.
Oh yeah, no, they were cheap back then. I
Were you
remember.
around for the Foot Locker in front of Kmart in Zaragoza?
I believe so.
Before the mall, maybe I think.
Yeah.
Like I used to go buy Airwalks used to be a thing, but we used
Yeah.
to go get the Airwalks, the Converse,
Hmm.
maybe for 15, $16.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
so I'm still particular to my even Vans, but my Chucks. You know,
Hmm.
but I mean we never lived rich at all.
Yeah.
I mean we weren't rich either. I'm not saying that either, but we never lived that lifestyle. Like I'd see other people like my friends in school with their Jordans or
Yeah.
whatever popular shoe was at the time,
Hmm.
and we never had that.
Yeah.
We had Payless or whatever, you know,
Hmm.
again, or $15 Chucks or whatever. So I think that for sure did help us out also.
Hmm.
But somewhere along the way, I lost my train of thought and I forgot how to save. But yeah, I do gotta say a saving story from one point in time,
Hmm.
similar to yours, kind of I guess. But I remember my guitars that I bought on my own dime back in the day were usually Squire, either pawn shop guitars or Squire guitars, which is the cheaper version of Fender, right?
Yeah.
But they're equally as badass. I'm not gonna say they're not,
Hmm.
but I always I had that want.
Hmm.
I need a Fender guitar,
Yeah.
and it's what I play most. Most of my guitars are Fender Strats or Telecasters, but
Hmm.
I'm like I want a Strat, I want a Fender because of Frusciante, because of Hendrix, whatever.
Yeah.
I gotta have a Fender, gotta have a Fender. And I remember American Strats didn't cost. Again, they're a lot more expensive now too. I think at the time they were 1,200. My dad listens to the podcast. He's gonna be pissed. But it was in my early 20s, right?
Yeah.
And I got my first American Strat by saving money. Just thinking this is before I started getting income tax from my jobs or whatever.
Yeah.
I started saving my money. And one of the stories from that is I had a coworker that was a piece of shit, bro. But he's talking to his ex lady on the phone when he's supposed to be training me, helping me out. But while he's on the phone and we're on break, pretty much, I called the bank to see what my amount of money was because I knew I was pretty close to having the guitar,
Yeah.
and I must have said something like I called the bank and I see how much money I got, and I must have said something like "Holy fuck" or whatever,
Hmm.
because I had more than what I thought I had.
Yeah.
I had more than twice as much what I thought I had. So I could have bought two of those guitars and then some.
Yeah.
And he saw my reaction and he asked me, he's like, "Hey, carnal," after he hung up the phone, "what were you reacting to?" And I was like, "Oh no, it's because I've been saving up for a guitar, bro,
Hmm.
and I thought I had enough money for it. And as it turns out, I got more than enough. I got twice what I thought I had, if not more."
Yeah.
And sure enough, started asking for money. You know, dude. I said no. I was like, "Dude, ask me for $20. Don't ask me for." I think he asked for 400. It's like, ask me for $20. Maybe I'll lend them to you, but anything beyond that, nah, bro.
Yeah.
But he made my life at work miserable. That's why I remember that story.
Oh, I know.
And I wish I still had that guitar. I sold it at some point in time. I wish I still had it.
Ah,
That was my
the
baby for a long
memories.
time. I decided I had to grow up like right before I hit 30. I got to grow up. I got to put music on the back burner.
Yeah.
And I sold it for cheap, bro. But I miss that guitar.
Yeah, that's funny actually. It's funny that you mentioned that too, because like I remember I was talking to my hairstylist and we were talking about just like family and then when when they know how much money you have, hey bro, or
Mm-hmm.
hey sis, or hey mom, can I borrow money? It's like, and then you start, and then the money starts to
Mm-hmm.
go down. So that's why like me, I'm not, I don't want to be stingy, but sometimes I'm like, look, I'm barely making it by. Like I don't even have enough to even lend you. Like you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Yeah.
You gotta be careful.
Yeah. Yeah,
You gotta
for
be
sure.
careful. And then one of the things we haven't really touched base on is um of course that one recital that Ryan had. Um, he was playing a Solara by the Smashing Pumpkins.
Yes.
That's a great story that I love. I've talked about it before with other people, but that story was Ryan had taught. Brian had taught Ryan how to play Solara by the Smashing Pumpkins. One of my favorite newer songs by them. The drums are crazy in that song. I love that song. If you guys don't know that song, listen to it. If you love the Pumpkins and you haven't heard that song, shame on you. But listen to Solara. Anyway, Brian taught Ryan that song. There was a recital. Um, Ryan got to play it, and both you and I, after the recital, posted it to social media. Both of us tagged the Smashing Pumpkins on it. Mine didn't get picked up, but I remember I was about to go to sleep. I don't mind you waking me up. I didn't care because it was great news. But I didn't sleep the rest of that night because you're like, dude, I tagged the Smashing Pumpkins on that video, and they tagged it to their official account. I was like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, man,
Yeah, I remember
that was
that.
great.
Yeah.
And my other story, and I've given this shout out before too. My other story from that same recital was your other star pupil Antonio,
Yeah.
because he played Everlong if I remember correctly.
I believe, or, you know what, was it that one?
I
Or-
think it was Everlong because I'd seen him play twice, and both times I was amazed by his talent. I want to
Yeah.
say it was Everlong.
Was it
I
Everlong?
think so. I might be mistaken, or was it Metallica?
You know what? I don't know if it was Metallica. You know,
Uh,
I remember somebody playing a Michael Jackson song
yeah,
because the
that was
drummer
a
for.
little boy. You
Oh,
know, he
yes.
was barely
Yeah.
learning. I think.
Yes, I believe. Yeah. No, I think. Yeah, you're right. I think. You know what? Actually, I forgot
I
what
think it was
Tony was
Everlong
playing. Yeah.
because I remember thinking I hadn't really seen anybody else play drums outside of Ryan because I did pay for Ryan to have the private classes, right?
Yeah.
And then when I saw Antonio, I was like, "Holy shit, this kid has it!"
Yeah. No, he was one of those kids that. It's funny because he was first learning piano,
Mm.
and you know, he was, I think, about like 7 years old or 6 or 7, and he has ADHD.
Mm.
So
I didn't know that.
yeah, and it's funny because from what I had heard was that when he would be in piano class, he would be hearing us playing drums, and he'd be like focusing on the drums and he'd be like headbanging. And then I remember Henna, shout out to Henna of Saving Bandit. She was his piano teacher. She'd be like, "Oh my god," she was like, "This kid just doesn't focus." So they shifted him over to me, and I remember that first class. I'm like, "Yeah, like this kid's very enthusiastic." And he's a very charismatic kid, like, and that's something I knew off the bat because that first lesson with him, I was like, yeah, like this kid's very, like, you can tell that he's very excited, and you know, it's funny the ADHD would kind of kick in every now and again, but I think, you know, with disabilities, right, like you can use certain things to your advantage, and I
Mm-hmm.
think with for him it was an advantage because he, like I said, very charismatic, very energetic too,
Mm-hmm.
and he again he picked up things very quickly, and it's funny because I mean if myself now would have told my younger self at that time, hey, this kid's gonna be playing like for Jane like Fire. He's actually gonna be playing, I think, in you know, I don't
This
know.
Saturday.
Yeah, yeah, he's gonna be playing for the Battle of the Bands.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'd believe it, but I'd be like so proud, probably to the point where like I'd cry, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because like that kid, I mean, he puts in the work.
So he invited Ryan and I to go see him last year,
Yeah.
and I've got beef with that show. Whether they get wind of this or not, I don't give a fuck. But so and I talked about it before, and I talked to them, Jen Like Fire, when they were here. I talked to them about it.
Oh yeah, I remember. I saw
So
that episode actually.
Antonio got very bashful when I give him props, but when I said that Foo Fighter story, whatever it was. But anyway,
Mhm.
that show, bro. Oh my goodness. So again, music sounds different to everybody's ear. I get it, but the judges, to me, the day that they played, weren't paying much attention. They're having their own conversation,
Mhm.
and I thought Jane Like Fire kicked ass. They did.
Yeah.
I thought they were amazing. I can't remember who placed on that show, But the judges pissed me off, bro, because again, they're not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
The audience is for sure vibing to Jane Like Fire.
Yeah.
This one band comes on, and they were kind of like I want to say Maroon 5-ish, kind of, I guess. They're not even 2-3 notes into their first song, and the judges are up and dancing, you know?
Yeah.
And they might have been the ones who won the. I can't remember. It was a jazzy rock band, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah.
Very, again, whatever. Not my cup of tea, but it was very jazzy elevator music sounding bossa nova rock. I guess I might be saying it wrong. I don't know. I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
But honestly, there was talent there.
Mm-hmm.
They had talent, but I'm judging myself, or I'm judging the event based on audience reaction to the music. You know.
Yeah.
Jane Like Fire had the crowd jumping, you
Yeah.
know? So why not them be winners at least for that day?
Yeah.
I just don't get it, bro. And
Yeah.
it's I can't remember what other band really sounded great to me, because there were several bands that day.
Mm-hmm.
Several of those bands sounded great to me for
Yeah.
sure. But some of them I was like, yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah.
Like, nah. Like these kids blew the roof.
Yeah.
The
No,
talent's there.
yeah, no, and they definitely did, because I remember I was at that one. I can't remember exactly who played that same day, but I do remember being there. And those kids, I mean, they always tear that roof down, man. Like
Mhm.
they're a great group of kids, and very talented. Um, Something I know about Battle of the Bands, because I was in it twice. They tend to grade on like certain aspects of like, I know. Well, I don't know if they did it the first year that I did it, but I know like the second year that I did it, like your reaction if like something goes wrong, which our sound was so bad that day, and like I think for the first three bands, the sound was really terrible. It looked like, again, I'm not trying to talk bad about anybody, but it didn't feel like the sound didn't start really working well until like after the third band played, and it's kind of like, is that really our fault, or you know what I mean? Because I mean, obviously, yes, it is fair. Like, what is your reaction to anything? Are you gonna be cool about it and still make a cool show out of it, or are you not? But then it's kind of like, well, if it's not our fault, like, can you really blame it on us?
Can we really give you our best if you can't hear the best?
Exactly.
We might be playing our best on stage, but you're not hearing it because the equipment's,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So I think that's why like our second year was. I remember like that intro, like I couldn't hear anything.
Did
Like,
you guys play that same day as Jane Like Fire? Or?
no, it was a different day. I'm not sure if it was the day before. I think it was the day before.
Yeah, I
I
think
think we
so.
played the day before, and I remember that first note. Boom! I hear my drums really loud, and I could not hear anything, and we were off time, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "This sucks." And then eventually, the sound guys are getting on stage, fixing things, and I'm kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, is this really part of the show? Like no, like people are here to see us play. Like they're not here to see us how to like work equipment. Then there would have been a master class on how to fix like sound.
I, I think that was the first time I saw King Collapsia too. Did they play with was it that day? I think might have been that same day I saw
Hmm.
that same day, and I thought they were amazing.
Yeah,
I thought they were great.
yeah. No, definitely. There's a lot of talent here in El Paso for sure.
It's crazy, bro. Because going back to my time when I was younger, um, to me it felt like you had to be a cover band back then
Hmm.
to get any recognition. And there were original bands for sure. There were. I remember a couple. I can't name them because I'm forgetful now.
Hmm.
But there were a couple, and they were great. You know, some of them did cover sets with one name, original sets with their original name too.
Uh-huh.
But it just felt like not so much the case anymore. I don't think. But I think back then El Paso wanted to hear songs that they recognized
Yeah.
more than anything.
Hmm. Yeah. No, definitely. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I think like, because when I was younger, like I didn't know of any music scene really. Like I've always wanted to be in a band. When I was a kid, and throughout high school, like I was in a band. I was really devoted to a friend of mine. We would always play together. But then when as soon as I graduated and started actually playing shows, that's when I started to know the scene more. But
Hmm.
everything was original. There was no cover bands or anything
Good.
like that. And it was cool because I was like, like there's something going on here. Like there's a little scene here. And that's how, like, because originally I didn't want to go to school here for music. I wanted to go to Berkeley,
Mm-hmm.
but I grew up again, from a low income family, so I was like, well, how am I gonna make it out there if I can't pay for that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if my financial aid doesn't cover that? How am I gonna live? So I was thinking about all these things, and I'm like, I guess I'll just go to UTEP. And I mean, they were kind of already expecting me there because there was a lot of people that had already knew me that were at
Mm-hmm.
UTEP. So that's how I joined the drum line there, and I started like studying there. And then I started playing, and I started seeing the other side of El Paso that I hadn't seen, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh wow, I didn't know that there was a music scene here. And it was really cool because I was like, like I guess this is my home. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, at least musically.
So they've been around forever, but Low Luster League. Have you ever heard of that band?
What was it again?
Low Luster League. They were real big in El Paso. Low Luster League.
No, you know what? The name does sound familiar though. Probably might have
So
heard it.
Hapa was a vocalist, and he had a bunch of
Uh-huh.
different members. But before I get to that though, so it took me going to another city, Phoenix, for art school, right, to
Yeah.
see original music more often than not,
Yeah.
compared to El Paso.
Hmm.
Um, I actually didn't know about at the driving at the time.
Yeah.
Living here, my buddies from Colorado, my buddies from Fresno, California, that I met in art school, like, oh, you're from El Paso. Do you know at the driving? I'm like, oh man, I didn't. Lo and behold, I'm like I love Jim Ward, bro. Like Sparta to me is like,
Hmm.
I love Sparta more than anything. Anyway, um, it took me going to Phoenix for what I was gone for like 2.5 years, whatever it was, to see more original music, and I loved it, bro.
Hmm.
Because that's when I was like, you don't see that as much in El Paso.
Yeah.
Then I come back to El Paso sometime after the 2+ years, and then through my friend Freddie, I'd heard of the band, but I didn't really follow them much. But through my friend Freddie, one of my best friends, everybody thinks we're family because we got the same last name.
Hmm.
He's a brother to me for sure, But he had met the guys from Low Luster League,
Hmm.
so we used to go to all their shows.
Yeah.
So every once in a while, they'd have another local band play with them, but it was just them.
Hmm.
Look for them; they're on Apple Music too. They're
Yeah.
great. I love
Right.
Low Luster League. Kind of a Strokes type vibe. I don't want to insult Hapa if I get it wrong, but I get kind of like a Beatles meets the Strokes kind of vibe from them.
Yeah.
Spanglish here and there, so it's
Hmm.
it's it's great music.
That's
I
cool.
love his music.
Yeah.
But we used to follow them every weekend, bro.
Yeah.
They'd have different venues, like Zeppelin's was one of them.
Hmm.
There used to be the Clicks by UTEP. They'd play there too.
Hmm.
I think it was Clicks. I can't remember anymore.
Yeah.
But every weekend it was a routine, bro.
That's
But
cool.
again, original music,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's more what I fall in love with too. It's
Yeah.
it's great music.
Yeah. No, because I mean, you already hear like all the popular music on the radio or whatever, and then it's like, what else is new? And it's funny that you mentioned that because I remember there was a time where I was like thinking like obviously when I first started playing the scene, I would think like I wonder if like back then like during like my parents' time like if they ever saw like a local
Mm-hmm.
band at a party but playing
Mm-hmm.
original music
Mm-hmm.
like not covers like original music
Yeah.
you know and I think of that because I'm like I mean maybe it might be true like where maybe the original music started becoming more of a thing here in El Paso
Mm-hmm.
maybe until I mean I don't know but at least because when I graduated high school it was 2014 so it was around that year when I noticed the scene but I think even before that there might have been already like local bands writing original
Mm-hmm.
music so who knows I guess like when you start thinking of it from that time like you see how like the mentality of musicians change
And I may very well be mistaken too. Maybe I was just at the wrong places too.
or maybe
Maybe, but I just think about my complaints back then growing up, late teens, early 20s, was I'd go on road trips with my buddies to Austin, you
yeah
know, and the music scene is crazy out there.
yeah
So you're thinking, we're a fucking border town. If there's culture to be had, it's right here,
yeah
and culture affects music every which way.
yes
So why wouldn't we have more original content here?
yeah
And granted, as time went on, so I'm stuff is coming back to me now. As time went on, you got Radio La Chusma also.
yeah that I did let you know
I do remember seeing Emily Davis play. I don't know if she's got a band or whatever, but I remember seeing her do her solo shows on the acoustic guitar. I'm trying to think of other names, bro. I can't think of anything else. But Jade La Shuzma was another great band that I was like, oh shit, these guys are fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Riboflavin, do you remember them, or have you heard of them?
No.
They
Oh, you know what?
they
Yeah,
were
yeah,
ska,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
Uh-huh.
I saw them.
Yes.
I saw them several times, and they were great too. That was another great band too. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Also, Fixed Idea. I
Fixed
remember
Idea.
I knew
Yes.
of them in high school because my one of my uh drum instructors or like assistant drum
Hmm.
instructors, shout out to Josh Castillo. He played with them for a time. And I remember he would tell us stories about them. So that's how I knew of
Yeah.
that.
So Fixed Idea, because they've been an established El Paso band for the longest time, right?
Yeah.
And I actually reached out to Pancho, the guy that's the head of the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
to be on here, but that was a long time ago, and then I took a hiatus from the podcast too. But I got to bring him on here. But with Fixed Idea, so my longtime buddy Eric Chavita went to Socorro High School too. He was a band kid too. So Eric and his wife were in band together for the longest time. I think they played band at NMSU too. I might be mistaken, but they're band dorks for sure. Love them. But a bunch of their friends played for Fixed Idea
Oh
also.
wow, yeah.
So a bunch of times that I'd go to see Fixed Idea was through them because they
Mm-hmm.
knew somebody or other that was playing with Fixed Idea at the time.
Yeah, and actually it's funny too because I remember there was some people that even I knew actually in high school
Mm.
that were like about a year or two younger than me that they ended up playing with Fixed Idea. Like after I remember after I graduated, I would see like, oh yeah, we're playing for like Fixed Idea, and I was like, oh, that's like so cool, you know?
So another crazy Fixed Idea story that I have, and this is a bullshit story, not on my behalf. Um, my first garage band in high school, the vocalist that we had at the time, they called him Chavelo. Idiot. Anyway, so this dude was in the Spanish club and they're looking for a fundraiser. And his idea was, I'm in a band with Rene and all these other guys. We should throw a battle of the bands as a fundraiser. So we threw it. It was at one of the gyms at Socorro High School.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember how we got the word out, whatever. It wasn't me that did it. But they got the word out to get a bunch of bands out here, you know.
Yeah.
And Fixed Idea was one of the bands that was supposed to play, bro. And I believe they're the ones that set up their drum set first, and they were going to go last. So mostly everybody used their drum set, if I
Uh-huh.
remember correctly. And that's
Yeah.
kind of fucked up. But it gets worse because they didn't get to play because we hit the time limit, I believe. Or maybe they did play, maybe they didn't. I can't remember. I don't think they played. But at the end of the day, my band was garbage. We were still learning. We're still learning how to play instruments, whatever. We knew enough to play a couple of songs.
Yeah.
And again, our vocalist sucked. I sucked at guitar at the time too. We got second place. I call BS on that, you know.
Yeah.
I had my buddy Roger and Slappy. Slappy played bass. You could tell by the name. And Raul. They were pretty much a Megadeth cover band, and Megadeth isn't easy to play.
Yeah.
Their metal isn't easy to play at all. You know, they're
No.
very technical. They played the hell out of Megadeth music, and I can't remember what other bands played, bro. There was a Nirvana cover band. My other buddies, they did great. They had stage presence and everything.
Uh-huh.
We played like shit, and we got second place, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
That's why I call bullshit on that. But I've always felt a certain guilt, even though it wasn't my fault towards Fixed Idea. I feel guilt that if I remember correctly, they didn't play, but also everybody used their drum set.
Yeah.
That's
That's
messed up.
always yeah. No, definitely it is. It's like using your equipment and you don't even get to play the show that you.
But for sure, Fixed Idea has been original music for the longest time in El Paso. Like
Yeah.
there,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I'll eat my words there because I did see them several times
Yeah.
back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and I did enjoy their shows. I remember seeing them at on Loma Land was a venue called Lucky Devils, I think is what it was called, and I remember seeing them there several times, amongst other places. I can't remember where else, but yeah,
Wow, that's so cool.
yeah. I'm aging myself, bro.
No, that's all good because they're all great stories, honestly.
I'm a
Yeah.
young 45,
Yes.
but yeah, man. My point to all of this though is you see a lot more original music now,
Mm-hmm.
and I love it
Yeah.
because that's more. If I go out and look at local music, that's more what I want to hear. I want to see something original.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there might be some stuff that's not to my taste, but there's still talent there. So I'm not really talking shit.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I like what I like, and
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean.
No, yeah, 100%. Yeah, because I think like, but yeah, like you said, we all have our opinions and things we like, but I think just the idea of seeing people create is a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
It really is because, like I think we get so tied up on like copying what a musician does, or just anything, like like doing the normal thing. But what about what would you do?
Mm-hmm.
And I think in life it's very important, but for sure in the music world, that's also very important too. And that's why, like, for me, like, on the when I'm teaching, I don't teach, how can I put it? Like, for example, if a student is learning a song, like, obviously, like, I cater it around to their level. But when it comes to like a fill or a solo part, I try not to teach them the exact solo. I'll show them something differently, kind of on purpose, that follows the song, but sort of a little different, so that way they get the idea of how to create.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least when I would play songs, like I was mentioning before, I'm always thinking of like, how would I do this part differently? How would I play this? Or what, I'd emphasize this part more. Or maybe I wouldn't play that kind of fill. Or maybe I'd play the fill on this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like you sort of become your own critic in a way, right? But then again, you're creating, and I
Right.
think that's something, as humans, like, we just naturally do.
I think again, my opinion ain't worth whatever it's worth to anybody. That's cool. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. But to me, my opinion with a bunch of these bands, like I've actually come across bands where, going to what you're saying, seeing somebody that created something, I've my mind has been blown away several times.
Hmm.
Where I'm like, this is from El Paso. This that I just listened to is from El Paso. Holy shit. And it's happened several times. I clearly dig Collide the Gemini. I do love your music. I did buy the album on iTunes whenever you guys first advertised it, and I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
But most recently, bro, um, and I'm supposed to have them on the podcast too. But whenever I heard their music through my producer, and even through YouTube, from Let Down Studio,
Yeah.
Bloomwave.
Oh
Have
yes,
you played with them,
we played a couple shows of them actually.
dude?
Yeah,
Their music hit me, bro.
their music is
Their music hit
making a
me
lot of
hard to
buzz.
where I'm like, I can't believe this is from El Paso.
Yeah.
I can't believe these guys are from El Paso, because that music to me is like, wow, man, dude. I go through phases where I'm geeking out over just thinking about them. I go through music that I like, and I'll listen to it forever. And there was a point in time where it's all I was listening to whenever I was home driving anywhere.
Yeah.
Was Bloomwave, because again they just sound great to me. That to me is like wow, man.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm lost for words. I just a thought, but
Yeah.
I can't wait to have them on, bro, because it's gonna be. I don't know, man. I can't
You're gonna be
explain it.
really starstruck.
I'm gonna be starstruck for local people, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't
Hmm.
get starstruck that often,
Hmm.
but it's to me it's very original sounding, and very it's within the wheelhouse of my ears, that this is something that, even if it wasn't from El Paso, I'd hear it, it'd be something that I'd be really into.
Yeah.
It's just it hit my ears that a certain way, and I'm like, hell yeah, man, I love this. I love
That-
this music.
That's super cool. Yeah, no, they're one of those bands, like, for sure, that, like, that, like, I can't remember what show exactly it was that, because it was when I was playing with Clyde the Gemini. We had them on a show. I think it was at Love Buzz, and I heard them, and I was like, hey, this band's pretty good, man. I was like, because, again, like, obviously, like, there's a lot of talent here, like you said, but there's just certain bands that you're just like, they got something,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they're one of the bands for sure. I remember that we played with that, like, we were like, yeah, like, this band, like, for sure is gonna, you know, get up there.
Yeah, and there's some words that I'm saving for whenever I have them on here, because I don't want, so that of world song to me, I'm hearing different influences in it,
Hmm.
and I want to ask them directly to see if I'm correct.
Yeah.
It sounds not like anything that I'm gonna ask them about. Like, it doesn't sound like they a direct copy of a song. No, not what I'm saying. Just the sound and the style to me
Hmm.
sounds like something that I really love, and I'm like, man, like let's say, for instance, I wrote a song in the style of the Chili Peppers, of
Hmm.
course, because I love the band, and I want to pay tribute to them, at least in one of my songs, at some point.
Hmm.
That of world song to me, I want to listen to it again. I can think of one of the influences, or one of the things I see in that song that I really enjoy. I can't remember what the second thing was that I hear in it, but that song, oh my god. Anyway, I'll wait till I have them on here.
Yeah, that's gonna be. Hopefully, you get to get him on
Yeah,
too.
man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So then, let's talk about your online classes too on Tuesdays. You said right?
Yes. Yeah. So that thing actually started because so originally, once I left Soundstage, I started working obviously at different studios. So Mondays I'm at Whiptail.
Mm-hmm.
So all the Central people, if you want classes on Mondays, sign up at Whiptail with me. And then Tuesdays, I devoted it to a program that I have, and I'm still kind of a little stuck on the name a little bit, but I do go a lot of by the Corgi Mantis,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously is something I do with Koji because, uh, after teaching at Soundstage for a while, I would bring him to work, and he has his little headphones, and he's there with the students. So all the students they know who he is, and and I mean for me, like like he's kind of like my like my other half,
Mm-hmm.
and I think like I was like, well, why don't I do something with that? I've always wanted to, do something, with Koji. And so I felt like, well, now that I'm moving on, why not create my own thing?
Mm-hmm.
So on Tuesdays, I have an online class which I teach a student. I have a student. She was with me at Soundstage, but then when she moved out for college, she still wanted to continue. So we do online class, and she does it through me, and it's through the Corgi Mantis.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have another student also who was with me at Soundstage, but he's in high school right now. So he's trying to play. I think he was supposed to play bass, but he had an accident. I think he messed up his collarbone, so he didn't get to march bass, I believe. But he's trying to get in the tenor line. So right now we're working on that. So for that I go to his house. So I kind of like leave Tuesday open for me to be able to do that, to grow students there, and then Wednesdays I'm at Encore and Horizon. Shout out to Edward, Steve, and Tony for hooking me up with a job over there. It's been great working over there too. Also at Melody Factory, I'm there on Fridays and Saturdays, but I'm also going to be at Encore on Saturdays
Mm-hmm.
too. So I split my time from Melody to Encore. So now I'm all over the place, but I
Mm-hmm.
like it because I get to help. I feel like I get to help the whole city. You
Right,
know.
right, right. So yeah, man. If anybody's interested in getting their kids or themselves classes with you, you're pretty much within arm's reach now.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to. That's also another thing too. I wanted to make myself available to in like everywhere, and that's why I guess these new music studios were opening up. So to help them out, it's a mutual benefit because their studio grows, but I also grow.
Mm-hmm.
And because essentially I do want the Corgi Mantis to be like like I mean it is my thing already as it
Mm-hmm.
is, but I do want it to grow as well.
Oh, for sure.
You know. And I have a lot of plans for that, which I don't want to say because I don't want to jinx anything, because I'm just really working hard at it. But it already exists.
You'll have to come back once you start.
Yeah, definitely.
Once the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah,
Once the
yeah,
corgi's out of the bag.
exactly. Yeah, and it's funny because I've never really actually. This is actually the first time I talk about it, like at least live. Like
Right, right,
people
right.
know about it, kind of, but I've never talked about it like out there. So it's slowly getting out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad to be able to talk about. So thank you for
Mm-hmm.
for allowing me to be able to talk about that.
Oh hell yeah, man. And before we finish, I do want to touch base a little bit more on any upcoming shows you might have or who you're focused on mainly right now as far as music.
So right now, I've been doing a lot of stuff with Ness Daniels.
Okay.
So we actually just finished a letdown session. We recorded 3 songs. We did an
Nice.
interview. So we have some cool stuff coming with that. And actually, it was really interesting how they had that set up because they got their logo and they did like a
Mm-hmm.
80s synth wave type logo, and it
Mm-hmm.
looks so cool. But it was a fun time. It was a fun time being able to do that, and I've honestly really enjoyed my time playing with Ness, and just entering that nostalgic world of the
Mm-hmm.
'80s. Even though we were never even born in the '80s, like we're all '90s. Actually, the only one who was born in the '80s, actually, not to like age him or anything, but Nate,
Mm.
'89, but barely like the mark. The rest of us are all '90s babies,
So he's got you beat by 6 years, give or take.
something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I've got him beat by 9.
It's okay. We all still look no
Yeah.
a day older, not a day older than 25.
Man, man. Even then, again, all that stuff's coming back, and the Stranger Things helped out a lot.
Oh,
You
100%.
know.
Yeah, I think that was one of the biggest influences. Because you know what, even too with music, a lot of it was already kind of hitting that like 80s disco-y type
Mm-hmm.
thing. Because I remember a lot of bands that I liked. One of them, a Marionette, they did a song called Modern Disco. And I was like, this is weird. And then, of course, you have Paramore that also
Mm-hmm.
released an album like that. And everybody was just following that trend. But it was cool. It was cool.
Well, there was. I know I have the album on my iTunes library because I bought it. But the dude from AFI with No Doubt as his backing band, they had a very 80s sounding album come out. Dream Car, I think is what their band name. I can't remember their name right now,
Uh-huh.
but it sounds very 80s synth style
Oh, I got to
too.
check that out. That's cool.
I think they're called Dream Car. I can't remember. It's been a while.
Hmm.
But I bought the album because I thought it sounded really neat.
Yeah.
I love No Doubt too, but it sounds different than No Doubt.
Yeah.
Um, but there's also what other bands? I've seen a bunch of stuff. I just can't think of it right now. But yeah, man, it's badass.
Yeah, it is.
I can't wait to see that Let Down Studio session because I had those guys here too, and you could see them too. Like you were talking about
Yes.
earlier, it's about the love and the passion for the music and helping
Yeah.
people out.
100%.
The right reasons.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? Those they're great guys, man. Like I saw that episode you did with them,
Mm-hmm.
and you can tell like the passion's really there. Because I've went twice. I recorded a session with Collide.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, around this time last year, we recorded our song "Take to the Skies." We have and you know, and it was funny because like when we had recorded that, it was the first time I had met them, but I knew I can't remember his name, but one of the guys I had or played with him in the music scene before. He was
Mm-hmm.
in another band called De Little Means Kindness. And when I was talking with these guys, you can really tell again that the passion is there. They really want to help us out, and they do so like. And shout out to also Daniel too at KLQ. Like
Daniel Paulus.
yeah, Daniel. Honestly, man, those guys, man. They do so much to help us out as musicians, and it's so cool because it doesn't feel like we're not competing. It doesn't feel like oh like nobody's cheating anybody, you know. We're all trying to do the same thing,
Good.
you know.
So going back to Daniel real quick,
Hmm.
I saw my brother earlier, my older brother, and he was telling me one of his buddies in the I guess he does his own music scene somewhere here in El Paso. I'll share that information with you later. But he invited myself and Ryan to a show, I believe, at the end of the month.
Hmm.
But I'll be at work whenever that show is. I'll be at work. But my brother had told me, he's like, hey, man, one of my friends sent you a friend request on social media. He's like, just so you know, he's a good dude. But this was prior to today, right? And so,
Yeah.
so today I see my brother, I see him, mentions that friend, and he's like, I can't remember his name at the moment, but he's like, oh yeah, man, I was telling him about you. I told him that you've got the podcast. I told you that I told him that you've been played on Cali Q, and again, that's always one of the things that makes me go, hell yeah, man. Well, thanks to Daniel, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
it feels good to be described as a band that's been played on Cali Q,
yeah.
and it's always made me feel pretty good whenever Father's Day comes and Daniel plays Glow, you know.
Yeah, it's so cool.
He'll
Father
let me
Son
know,
band.
like, hey, I'm gonna play your song, man, father son song. Like, hell yeah, bro.
That's cool.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Daniel.
yeah. No, and actually on the subject of of you and Ryan like playing together in a band like that's I've always admired that because
Thank you.
you don't see that very often, and I think what you guys have like definitely needs to go out there. You guys should do a session with Let Down like
Dude, everybody's like, so everybody's telling me when's Winston D gonna do a show, and I'm like, there's complications as far as vocalists right now, you know.
yeah,
Um, I won't get into the details of that, but I would love to.
yeah,
I would love to, but we got to be more established. I'm not gonna sing like, you know what? I don't regret releasing the song Luna
hmm.
with me singing on it. I did my best, but I'm not a vocalist, bro.
I know
I'm not a vocalist. I think the song came out okay. I love the song. I love my music for sure. But as far as vocalist, I'm not a vocalist. You know,
yeah,
if anything, I could do. I'm a badass vocalist on karaoke.
yeah,
I'll kill it with Johnny Cash every time. But anyway, going back to a live show, I want to do it. I want to do it, but I need a vocalist that can lend their time. You know.
hmm.
And again, I was telling you recently, the new song that I'm working on, I'd rather have somebody else come in and free reign. Somebody that, of course, that I'm gonna like.
Yeah.
Somebody that I like. Somebody that's willing to donate time and their talent to sing over music that's already established.
Yeah.
That'd help out a great deal. And talked to one gentleman so far. We're supposed to hang out and see what the deal is, but nothing's set in stone yet.
Yeah.
But I'm looking.
Yeah.
Ryan's eager to do it. He wants to play drums as much as he can.
Hmm.
I'd have to find a bassist too, for sure, for the shows, because my buddy Roger helped me out on Glow, and then my coworker Greg helped me out on 1985,
Yeah.
but he's in Clovis, New Mexico. Greg's a great story. I'll get into that later, but Greg's a great story, great musician, but they're not local, or he's
Yeah.
not local. So I'd have to find a bassist and a vocalist.
Yeah.
And again, the music's there, just somebody to come write lyrics and
Yeah.
sing them.
Yeah. Hopefully someone can be consistent, because that's one of the struggles of being in a band, is like finding the right people, finding the people that are gonna like devote time,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. And I hopefully you guys do find somebody, because it'd be awesome for you guys to
I want it.
really play live.
I want it. It'll happen. And then
Yeah.
too, with my career, it's hard to me. It's hard for me to go consistently into the studio. I want to have at least a 6-song LP,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm always telling myself this year it'll happen this year, because I've got music that I've written, just not recorded.
Yeah.
So I would love to do that too. Just find the time to go to the studio, and just put out song after song after song, and get that LP out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, I'm hoping. I can't wait for that to come out.
That would be
Honestly.
neat. And again,
Yeah.
it's gonna sound very 90s.
Heck yeah.
It's gonna
Bring it
sound very
back. Bring it
90s
back.
and somewhat funky.
Yeah, that's cool. I
But you
love
know
it.
what? So the times I've seen your band, because my stuff is still, it's still very centered around not even chords, but my style of playing. For sure, there's chords in there, right? Not basic chords, like I do palm muted chords, or I do octave chords, whatever, they're palm muted too, whatever.
Uh-huh.
The way that I write music, and I've been doing a bunch of the open tunings too, fumbling my way till I find something that makes sense. But something that I'm inspired by, when the few times I did get to see Collide the Gemini and some of these other bands,
Mm-hmm.
is a skill that I never used a lot, that you would think is the easiest thing to do, is knowing when to play less.
Yeah.
Spaces where you just need a little guitar lick and not guitar diarrhea or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen you guys play, and there's times when you guys just hit a couple of notes. There's space to breathe, and then the drums or the bass are going off, then the guitar comes back in, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I've always been guitar heavy, as far as guitar.
Mm-hmm.
I forget about those spaces, man.
Yeah.
So that's whenever I saw you guys in some of these other bands, I'm like, why don't I do that, man?
Yeah.
And I still have yet to implement it, but it'll happen.
It'll happen.
But again, it comes from me jamming out with Ryan, where it's just me and him.
Yeah.
Whereas opposed to, if I make the time to jam out with a band,
Mm-hmm.
then I've got time to experiment like that, not just figure it out by myself. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe if there's a space here,
Yeah.
spaces are everything on some of these songs, man.
Oh, 100%. And that's something, like, as Collide, we talked about a lot, because again, before, like when we were the Roaring Twenties, we would write a bunch of crazy stuff. Like, it was part after part after part, and it was really chaotic, but it was cool. I mean, I really enjoyed it. But then we started implementing, like, okay, we need to kind of cut some parts down a little bit. We need to like allow some like breathing space. We need to allow like some room for the notes to sing a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why sometimes, like, I'll even find myself like listening to like there's I mean, I guess they're a band, Hammock, very like ethereal type. There's like it's not like I mean, some songs have like guitar and drums, but they're really slow and melodic,
Mm-hmm.
and it's nice to have that a little bit, because of course, like, again, on the subject of, not throwing in everything that but there's a time to go a little crazy and then calm it down a little bit. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something with Collide, like we I know we've been known for a lot, is that we know how to get really chaotic. And I think just over time playing with each other, we sort of started to get to know each other musically, and we also, again, growing too, and I have yet to do that with the number 33. We haven't we haven't jammed out yet, But the songs are out because the lead singer, he writes all the parts.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, once like I'm curious to how like that's gonna sound because we haven't met up yet. We've talked. I've met the band, and we do keep in touch every now and again. But we are planning something hopefully for this year to start playing actually live shows. But again, with Collide, it's very it was a lot of experimenting, and I think that's where I'm always gonna have a soft spot for the Roaring Twenties and Collide because that's where it all started for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like really making it out, and
Stepping
also
stones.
yeah, exactly. And even actually another band before too. I was in a band called Victorian actually, which actually that was the first band I actually was in, and then it was a Roaring Twenties. But a lot of it had a little bit of the same vibe, sort of like where it was just a lot of experimenting, just young musicians just writing whatever parts we
Mm-hmm.
could, showing off however we can, and then starting to take whatever we thought was useful and then discarding what is useless, like Bruce Lee saying,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how it became what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. It's. I feel with my writing process again. It's very '90s influence, but it's also just me and my son jamming out
Yeah.
is where it comes from.
Mhm.
Um, so it's very to me compared to back in the day when I jam out with my friends. It was a lot different then for sure. But I think I feel it more when I'm in the studio
Mhm.
because I actually related to my art a lot
Yeah.
with my artwork. Where sometimes I feel like my artwork is flat
Mhm.
when I get down to it. Sometimes, not always.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could see motion in my artwork, whatever. But sometimes I feel like it's flat. Like it's just too set. What's the word I'm looking for? It's just too sentient, just too stiff.
Yeah.
And I feel that way with my music sometimes when I go into the studio until the magic's worked into it or whatever, until they figure it out, until the producer figures out this and that or whatever. But I feel like I'm working in segments all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas when I play here, what I hear when I record myself and I post it on social media for whatever the fuck, I sound very loose, very free, very organic. And in the studio, I don't know why I feel so flat.
Yeah. It's funny. I feel like all of us musicians feel like that. Cause me too. Like it's weird. Like when I'm recording anything, there's just something about knowing that you're on camera or that something is taking record of what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing. It's a little like nerve wracking
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. And I find myself actually making a lot more mistakes than I normally would.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like that's why like I think when I start playing live shows, sometimes I'll create on the spot. I'm like, oh, why didn't I do this before?
Mm-hmm.
And then especially like when I put out songs, like, especially like with Collide, that first EP that we put out, Dice Kurai, one of the songs, Let Me In, the ending, it's like a snare. It's like a snare thing I did. I'm just playing on the snare. Last fill, boom, song ends.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like at the time when we were like writing those songs, it was just we didn't give it enough time to brew, like
Mm-hmm.
tea. Like if you don't give the tea enough time to brew, it's not gonna taste well. You're not gonna get the taste.
Or it's like when you cook something today,
Yes.
the leftovers that sit in the fridge overnight, the flavors come together a lot better than
Sometimes,
initially.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
man.
And in the same sense, like that's when, I remember
I'm
one
always thinking
time.
about food. I'm sorry.
No, no, it's okay. I think we're all hungry. But it's funny because I remember one time we were practicing. I'm not sure if we were getting ready for a show or whatnot, and I just had this weird idea because sometimes we're jamming out and you just jam out just to have fun. You mess around a little bit. And I remember telling the band, I was like, hey guys, like, you know what? Could we do the song again? But at the end, let's try something and just follow me. So after doing this little thing or whatever, we kind of go into like this more cinematic type ending. And we're all playing big, playing
Mm-hmm.
together, and that became the live version of that song.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, we've been playing it like that. And we never went back to the original. It always stayed like that. And I'm like, dang, like imagine if this was actually on the record.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if that band's ever gonna re-record that, like, which we did, I don't know if it's gonna come out, but the Redux version of that, like for sure, like needs to, spark because that was such a fun song to play after that. Because I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I always liked that song because I threw in this like Bernard Purdy type shuffle thing, for all the drummers that know what that is. I threw a little bit of that in there,
Mm-hmm.
and to make the song kind of sound a little bit sexy, like which was
Mm-hmm.
the vibe. And then uh like with that ending, it just it I think it really helped show like our musicality,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's something with music that when there's that melodic, when there's that cinematic feel to it, it just it really makes it shine that much more. you know
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It kind of reminds me of one of the first bands I was in. I can't remember the name at this point, but my buddy, still friends with him. I haven't seen him in a while, but just social media, right?
Hmm.
My old drummer Baltasar Gallegos. I remember we'd jam out, bro. And I remember mid song, he would do something maybe that he didn't realize he could do. And you could see him excited while he was playing. I used to love that feeling of watching him do that, bro.
Hmm.
I used to love that feeling. Real quick, um, one of the things I was talking about, I've got one drummer in mind that I was thinking about too, because you hear everybody talk. Let's talk about big bands,
Hmm.
big famous bands that are big. I was thinking an underrated drummer that should get more attention than what he gets.
Hmm.
Who do you think is an underrated drummer?
Who do I think is an underrated drummer? Big bands or like just
Famous bands,
famous bands?
because again, everybody talks about Chad Smith, Taylor Hawkins, Dave Grohl, um, Lars Ulrich, whatever,
Oh,
Neil
that's a
Peart.
good question. I mean, I have some, but it's funny because like I've always, I mean, I've kind of liked the big bands, but not as much. Um, I think probably one of the drummers that I had mentioned. I mean, maybe he does get a lot of attention, but I think he should do a lot more stuff because of what he knows.
Mm-hmm.
The drummer for uh, well, he used to play in a lot like birds. The drummer that I showed you for that song Omniphobia,
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Wesley Arrington,
Great song.
amazing drummer. Like that dude, like he knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he's doing, and I feel like he, he's probably one of those drummers I think like for sure should like really get a lot more like
Mm-hmm.
attention because again, like I said, just the way he plays is
Mm-hmm.
different. Like for sure, like because you put him on a like if you put him on a bill with like another band, like you can really tell the difference. You can really tell like that influence like of Dave Weckl, Vinny Calduta and all those drummers. Like you can really tell that influence because those are actually drummers that I've always liked too.
Mm-hmm.
That I studied a lot, and actually that sound that he has was always a sound that I was like, I want to play like that, but I didn't know of him. I was like, yeah, like I want to be able to play like that. So when I heard him playing like that, I was like, oh, this guy already took this idea that I had.
Mm-hmm.
But it was cool because you don't really see that. So I would say Joseph Wesley Arrington is probably one of those drummers for sure.
I had two drummers that I thought about, and I brain farted on the name right now at the moment on one of them. But the main one I was thinking of, both bands that I love, but Dave Matthews Band, his drummer,
Yes. Hmm.
amazing, beautiful. But the one I was thinking of more than anything was Jose Pasillas from Incubus.
Oh yes.
He's
Uh
amazing, bro, and he doesn't get the props that he deserves. I don't think
huh.
he's
Yeah.
a great drummer, bro.
Yeah. No, and it's funny because like I feel like songs don't really, well, at least certain songs, right? Or at least some bands, they don't really give the drummers not the chance to shine, but because of how simple they are. Which again, going back to the subject of like, not getting too crazy, right? But like, sometimes you hear like drummers are like just playing like a simple beat or whatever, but sometimes I always think like, oh, what else can that drummer do? And then you find out, you see videos of them like playing like this, like I can't remember who he played for. I'm not sure if he was the. I might be mistaken. I should have studied this in advance because I was actually really
Mm-hmm.
watching. I was watching a video of him playing. I don't know if he played for Black Sabbath or it was the drummer for AC/DC. It was one of those bands. He was playing swing,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like. that guy can swing, man. And I'm like, it's so cool. I mean, obviously, he's not gonna play a swing beat over like
Mm-hmm.
back in black or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's just the fact that you really see what these drummers can actually do, and and again, that's why as a musician, I've always had uh that desire to like, well, everybody should shine in the song,
For
you
sure.
know, or just I mean, not that every song should have every musician shining in every song, right? But I think y- people should be aware of like what they can do, because it's just like you're seeing them as a musician, but you're seeing what they can create, and you can enjoy it too.
Well, I think in a bunch of those big bands, the ones that are famous, where the fans know the names of all the members. Again, kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you know the Chad Smith, you know the Flea, you know the John Frusciante, you know the Anthony Kiedis, you actually do pay attention to what they all bring to the table.
Hmm.
I think with Jose Pasillas with Incubus, though, I think he's been a solid drummer in every album that they've got.
Hmm.
But I think they got a little bit more experimental in a badass way on their album called "A Crow After the Murder,"
Hmm.
and that's the only time I've ever seen them live. But I mean, I've listened to all their music, whatever. But that album itself was just, to me, it's very it's great. The song that comes to mind real quick, more than all the other songs, is "Pistola,"
Hmm.
and that song starts off like any other Incubus song, and then when it cuts to the bridge or the break towards the end, to me it sounds like Mike Einziger, the guitarist, and then Joe Pasillas and the bassist. I can't think of his name right now. He's not playing with him right now because he got sick or some shit.
Hmm.
But they go into like this rush type of zone for their music, and it's I love that song, bro.
That's so
That, that
cool.
that whole album though, that whole album, especially his drum parts, is
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. No, it's again, I think, musicians or music, like back on that, that phrase or the saying, like, serve the music and but always remembering like as a musician you are the music, you know.
Hmm.
It's really important. I think something as us musicians should always like, take note of now,
Hmm.
for sure.
I'm gonna take note of it
Yeah.
because
Yes.
because I gotta get better, bro. Because I'm not terrible. I'm not, but I'm also not great. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like I told you earlier, I think I write stuff by accident. I wish I had more know-how to figure out how I got to certain places
Yeah.
or how to get to the next spot rather than just fumbling onto it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think my talent is accidental. I guess is the best word for it.
Yeah, and
But it makes sense. But
yeah, and it's good. I mean, like from what I've heard, you guys sound amazing. Like I've
thank
I've
you.
heard the sessions and like the way you play and the way Ryan plays, like you guys have a nice mesh together. And
Thank you.
like I said, it's a very beautiful thing. Father and son band, like it's very unique, you know.
And maybe you could talk to Ryan about one more thing. So going back to home versus the studio, I don't know why it doesn't translate, bro.
Hmm.
But the acoustic drum set to the electronic drum set in the studio,
Yeah.
it's like he's got more of a presence here,
Yeah.
and he still does great over there.
Yeah.
But you see him more at home on the acoustic drum set.
Yeah. It could be a number of things like the environment one, because it's the same for me. Like when I'm in a new space, I'm like I have to get comfortable, So it could be the space, the fact that it's a different kind of drum set is one thing. Because even for me too, like I've had to like I have to sit down where I'm at and kind of like play around with it, so that way I know how to get my sound out of
Hmm.
that, And I think maybe he just kind of has to like I'd probably have to see. And I'd probably have to sit down with him, but I think a lot of it. I think what would really help is like giving him like some time to like
If you
kind
ever
of
get a
like,
chance to go with us to the studio, that'd be
yeah,
great.
yeah,
Cause you know what? That's the only time I get serious with him. Cause so like on this latest song, we've recorded the foundation of the song, and what he does here is great. Granted, there's no structure to it. I think I want him to get more structure to it, because he goes off the wall and bounces off the walls here and there, whatever. But it sounds great. But in the studio, when I compare what he's doing there to what he did here, like, dude, just do what you were doing at home. And he can't find it. I'm like, I don't lose my cool, but I'm like, dude, do I want to step out of the room or not? if it makes it better for you, I'll step out of the
Yeah.
room because I don't want to be like the softball parent that is watching
Yeah,
from the
from the sidelines.
from the
Yeah.
sideline and not happy with their kid's performance. You know, like I
Uh-huh.
don't want to be a jerk about it. So I'm like, do you want me to step out, bro? Because I'm losing my cool inside. You know, I lose my
Yeah.
like, dude, you could do this. I just saw you do this at home before we came to the studio. Like,
Yeah.
where's it at? You know, but normally I step out. Normally I step out because I don't want to lose my shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, but anyway, to close things off, man. Again, you're teaching at all these places. Encore, Whiptail,
So, Melody Factory.
Melody Factory, every which, and I'll put the information on the video and on my promotion for this episode. So no matter where you're at in El Paso, you can find Brian pretty much anywhere, and you're not gonna be like J.K. Simmons and Whiplash, as far as an instructor.
Yeah, no.
You're gonna be cool about it.
Yeah, I mean, do I come off that way at all?
Nah,
No,
hell no,
okay,
bro.
good. Yeah,
Nope.
no.
No, you're good people, and that's just it. And that's why I go back to loving having you have been Ryan's instructor was that you can sense the passion.
Hmm.
You could sense the love of music in you, and all in all, you're a great person, bro.
Well, thank you.
And that bleeds through everything that you do, and it hopefully, if if I can have some of that transfer more and more to Ryan, like I'm glad, you know, because whatever you've already taught him has already made him a better drummer, and it just means the world to him. It means the world to me. It's been great so far, man. This journey is his musical journey wouldn't be the same without you in it, you know.
Hmm. No, that's
So
it.
it's we can
Thank you.
attest to it.
Yeah.
It means everything to us.
No, thank you. Yeah, it's nice to hear that, but and again, and all the credit to Ryan too, for putting in the work.
Mhm.
I mean, I give a lot of like, I mean, of course, like yes, as a teacher, it helps to have like the credit for the guidance, but I think the students like should really be, they should be able to celebrate their victories that they've had, all the like how much they've grown. Because I've seen a lot of these students, like for example, Antonio and I mean
Mhm.
Ryan, like and a bunch of my other students that I've had, like all my students that I've had, like from day one, the way I see them play now, like so much growth.
Mhm.
And because, it's just me getting to understand them. And that's why I guess I don't like to get mad because it's like, why am I going to get mad about something that they don't know,
Mhm.
you know? And just seeing the way they grow as musicians and as people, I mean, it's just, it's very, it's a beautiful thing for me. Like, that's like the greatest payment I've ever received, honestly, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, and I'll briefly touch base with. We talked about earlier how, to me, all the dollars I put into Soundstage 9 um, was worth it because we met you. You were Ryan's teacher, and again, as I said earlier, it changed everything for the better with us.
Hmm.
I do have my personal beef because they don't give a shit what I feel or not. I've got my personal beef with Soundstage 9, reason being that they wouldn't share our music.
Hmm.
We talked about it earlier. I wish they would have showcased us somehow or other.
Hmm.
They never did. They chose not to.
Yeah.
I figured this is your star pupil, man. One of
Yeah.
your star pupil. Why not show us off? You
Yeah.
know, they never did. So I've got that beef, and that's why I pulled Miko out of that school.
Hmm.
Um, Regardless, I don't regret it.
Hmm.
I don't regret investing my money into that business because I got to meet you.
Hmm.
Ryan got to meet you, and it's all for the better.
Yeah.
I'll repeat that over and over and over. but ultimately, the friendship that we've established with you too,
Yeah.
it's everything.
Hmm.
Um, our world wouldn't be the same without you in it.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, man.
Yeah. No, of course, and that's why, like, again, like obviously, like no shade to where I was at before. It's just I think it's really unfortunate a lot of the stuff that happened, like why I had to leave, because I mean, obviously, I was gonna leave regardless, but given because again, you guys were someone that for sure they should have showcased, like
Mm-hmm.
because again, a father son band who like
Mm-hmm.
you don't see a lot of that, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And given a lot of like the financial issues that was happening there, like I mean, again, like I said, the vision was there, like we did a lot of great things there, like all the showcases were cool because the students got to perform. And I know Ryan did a couple of them,
Mm-hmm.
got to perform the recitals. And that's where again, like I'm grateful for the time that I was there, and of course, like yeah, like there's a bunch of stuff that I didn't agree with, a lot of things that, like I pretty much ended on a bad note with, but I'm always going to be grateful for the fact I met you,
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, a bunch of great people, bunch of great students, because as I branched out to these other studios, I was also able to help them grow
Mm-hmm.
because of my experience when I was there. So that's what I'm grateful for. I'm not grateful for the bad stuff at all,
Oh
of
no, for
course not.
sure.
But, I am grateful
There's
for
some
the
good in everything
opportunity.
that wasn't the best.
Exactly, exactly, and that's again, my intention with all of it. Not to throw shade on anybody or anything like that, because everybody could do better. I can do better as a teacher myself too. I'm always critiquing like, how can I be better to this student, or what can I do to help them? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm always trying to be better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just essentially the ultimate goal for everybody is to be better,
Mm-hmm.
to be the best that we can be.
And personally, I'm glad I got that opportunity to kind of vent that for the first time on this platform
Hmm.
on my own podcast, right? Like, because again, I myself don't want to burn bridges either, you
No,
know.
of course
Like
not.
like
Yeah.
a bunch of great instructors came out of there, a bunch of great musicians came out of there, and I'd like to meet a bunch of them still, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a sad shame they didn't
Hmm.
promote One Star Day, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. No harm,
Yeah.
no foul.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul, brother.
Yeah. No harm, no foul.
But yeah, also everybody make sure to listen to Collide the Gemini on your music streaming platforms. Ness Daniels as well, and also more recently the number 33.
Yes. Hmm.
Listen to the music, support local music, support original music, and uh, and spread the word on them too. You know, like let other people know how much you like this band, and let them know that this band exists, that band exists, whatever. Um, and again, anybody else that is interested in coming on here and talking to me about their bands or their music, by all means, reach out to me. I'm here. I'm anxious to meet everybody. I'm anxious to be cool and get to know a lot of people.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
again, I'm not half the musician you guys are, but I love talking music. So
No, no. I mean, your passion for it is there, so I think that's enough of that kind of like equals it out.
and then tune
Makes up
into
for that.
thank you, brother, thank you. And then tune into Brian's social media for more drum lessons with Koji.
Yeah. If you guys haven't checked those out, might learn something new.
So this is a anything else you want to share though before we close off?
Uh, what do we have on the list?
We're at 2 hours and 12 minutes.
Oh, that's cool.
It went down pretty quick.
Yeah, I kind of did. Huh? Did it just
It
feel like
felt-
we were here for like 5 minutes? I could be here for another hour. Just kidding. No, I mean, I think that's pretty much about says it all. Like, just those of you guys who are listening, if you're musicians, it'd be great to be on this podcast. Honestly, I think you guys are gonna really enjoy it. The room's cool, the vibe's cool. Renee's
Thanks, man.
cool. You get to meet a son, talented people. Get on the podcast, spread your music, and this podcast will grow, and so will your music.
Yeah, and I'm just here to help everybody out. You know, as much as myself. Like I come out of this. I already knew you, so it's different. But a bunch of times when I had the guys from Let Down Studio here, you know,
Mhm.
like and some of the bands I hadn't met before, or my buddies band members that I'd never met before either. Like I always leave the podcast thinking, I go to bed thinking, man, I just met a new friend today. You know,
Mhm.
more often than not, I met a new friend today. This person's cool. Um, it's always good to be out in El Paso, and then somebody recognizes me. Hey, Rene, what's up, man? And hey, what's up, so and so, whatever. So people from the podcast guests, you know, not
Yeah.
listeners. So it's always cool to, especially at shows, recognize people that I've interviewed and touch base with them again, and good times,
Mhm. Definitely.
good times, and that's why we do it, man. I'm doing this to promote everything cool about El Paso, man.
Mhm.
So I love it.
Yeah, you're doing a great job at it, by the way.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I trip on my tongue a lot, but it's all for the good.
I did a little bit too, but I don't know if you noticed at some point I was here, and then I kind of like I finally relaxed, and I'm like, I should have already been like this. I already know you. You know what I mean?
Yep. So I'm rusty because I took a hiatus and it took me a minute to fall back into where I've been before, but
How does it feel now?
I'm in a great place, bro.
Yeah, that's
I'm
good.
in a great place.
I'm glad.
Um, I'm in a great place. I'm feeling good, and I can't wait for more episodes.
Yeah,
So
glad to see more episodes too. Hmm.
so on that note, thank you for coming. I say this to all my guests. I've got nothing but love and respect for you, brother. Again, thank you for coming. Being a part of the Long Story Longer podcast family. And all of you guys, thank you guys for listening also. So peace out. We love you all. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.